everyone, and welcome to the Progressive Queens. This is a show about all things political from a female progressive point of view. Wave hello to the camera, guys.
Hi.
We have a new panelist with us today. Her name is Jenny. I think it's Jenny Ford, but I'm just calling her Jenny because that's what's on the screen. So we're going to give Jenny a moment to just tell us a little bit about herself so you all can know who she is.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny, aka Jenny Joy or JJ, whichever you prefer. If you're my mother, it's Jennifer Joy, but we won't go there. I was raised very conservative in a very religious household. So I didn't start thinking progressive thoughts or even becoming aware of progressive ideas until college. So my transformation from super conservative to I don't even want to say far left because I'm like past that. And every day I realize that I'm more and more like progressive ideas are what to me feels like the right thing to do in a human way. I have some children that I try to raise with those beliefs. I have two, an 18-year-old and an 8-year-old. And we live in Portland with our 2 dogs. And that's me.
Well,
welcome,
thank
Jenny.
you, Jenny. We're so happy to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yep, and we're going to get to our first topic. First of all, I know it's not a big holiday to everyone, but happy Juneteenth. Had to say that. We got the holiday.
Absolutely.
But of course, I would have loved to see reparations passed first, but that's just me. But irregardless, happy Juneteenth. This is now a federal holiday, the 11th. And we had one senator who thought he had objections, but someone must have gotten to him because all of a sudden he relinquished his objection to Juneteenth.
Who was that? Not Cornyn.
That was, I want to say Johnson, or was he?
Do you think it was Shane?
I can't think of his name, but he was a senator, and his base.
You know what state?
No, I can't think of the state. Why are you gonna ask me that? No, I'm joking. But he had some of the stupidest. We've had a black president, so that should just be good enough. I'm voting against it thing. Yeah. No, he was a congressman, not a senator. He was one of the 14 that voted against it, and I can't think of his name.
Was it Gosar? Was it Paul Gosar?
That's it. Why are people like this allowed to exist? Just why?
I don't know, but his family is out doing commercials against him, and they actually did a public apology for his ignorance and said he does not represent the Gosar family. It is delicious. I've watched that soap opera as much as I can.
May I say something? May I say something about Juneteenth? I'm glad they finally passed it. What I worry, and from both sides of the aisle, is them saying, okay, we gave you this. Leave us alone, shut your mouths.
Right.
We're throwing the hungry, starving people a little crumb. So now you can't come back in a couple decades about reparations and voting rights and police brutality. We'll give you the rest of the meal in a couple decades. I worry about that.
Or you'll never
see
it's
definitely a distraction. It's meant to be, look what we did for you. It took how many years for this, and we finally did this. When that's not what we were asking for in the first place. I'm glad that Juneteenth is a federal holiday. I think that it should be, but I think that it should have come with it real concrete legislation and change. Reparations at the least. I think like reparations is like the bare minimum at this point, and this is just kind of, here's your holiday. I'm gonna wink at you, and now we're all fine.
Right. You know what? I'm very surprised at of all the Black people who I'm friends on Facebook with. The majority of them are saying, "Okay, this is nice, but we want more." And I'm glad that's taking place because it used to be we were just so desperate for anything that we would just accept. We'd be like, "Oh, thank you," and now it's changing.
Yes.
And so I'm really, really glad about that. But you brought up a good point, Jenny. What I wanted to move kind of into our next discussion of our least favorite legislator, Joe Manchin.
Oh my goodness.
How'd you like that phone call?
Let me tell you something. I have a no curse rule on my show, but he made me come really, 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 really close. I don't understand. I do understand why the Democrats put up with him, because it's just not him that feels that way. There's other Democrats that feel exactly the way he does. It's just he gets to represent. He's the one that they said, okay, you take the public fall, and we'll scratch your back and you scratch ours.
Last time it was Kristen Sinema. Was, you know.
No, she's just a yahoo. No, she's out there. I think she was never for the progressive things that she campaigned on, because she hasn't done any of them.
Well, the reason I like that phone call is I've been in arguments with so many people, Democrats, when I say both sides are corrupt and they insist, no, it's just the Republicans. Right. Now I've got that phone call. I saved the link
folks,
to that.
I missed the phone call. Mickey, can I get some background on that phone call?
Oh my God, a think tank of billionaires.
Donors. Mm-hmm.
He's on the phone with them, and it's all recorded, telling them, basically, I want you to get a couple Republicans to vote for this so that it looks like I'm getting something done, and then offer them a job, which is illegal for doing it, and then I don't have to do anything else. And it was like a half-hour phone call.
Yeah, it was disgusting. Wow. When I heard that call, I'm like, why is he not being investigated?
Now, this is the question, though. Did this just hit our little independent media circles, or did mass media hear this and broadcast this? Because we know people don't watch independent media.
Like, I mean, do you count YouTube as mass media these days?
I would, but folks only give credence, especially mainstream folks, only give credence to your MSMs, your CNNs.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, Department of Justice must know about this by now.
Now, is this the same conversation where he was telling donors to give money to Republicans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he was.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he's trash.
Because they're gonna get ready to retire, and they're gonna need. They're
gonna need a job.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link, Alicia. You can listen to the call yourself.
Thank you.
But get ready to throw your shoe against the wall, because I think I threw a shoe, my phone, picked up something else. I'm just like, this is illegal. Why is there no investigation? There's nothing.
Wow. Well, I did see today that the DOJ is busy trying to prosecute the person that leaked from the IRS, that they're not going after the people with money. They're only going after the poor folks. So they may be too busy investigating, people, small people.
Well, they need to go after him because they dropped the case with Stormy Daniels, even with proof, with a signed check, with Rudy testifying that Trump did it, with Michael Cohen as a witness when it was done. They dropped that. They're thinking of dropping the E. Jean Carroll case. I mean, they've got spare time, so they might as well go after the whistleblower like we always do.
The E. Jean Carroll, I'm actually okay with, because they're trying to keep it from her being able to sue the DOJ and make it just on Trump. Because when she initiated it, that was against Trump's DOJ, because Trump was in charge. Why would they be suing the federal government for Trump? And especially when something he did as a private citizen. So I'm with that one, but I'm totally with you. They're just as corrupt as red DOJ.
Well, you have to remember, Biden is keeping his promise of nothing will fundamentally change. That's pretty much the only promise that he's kept.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And I just can't. It's like I have two sides. One side, me can't believe that the electorate is just not paying attention to this. But then
Oh, they're back to sleep. They're back to sleep. They're out to brunch. Biden's here.
Yeah.
He's better. But he's better. However, he literally flipped on some reporters the other day in a very Trumpian fashion.
Oh,
Yeah.
And when I tell you Blue MAGA fell all over themselves explaining it away and whataboutism because Trump was worse and da 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 da, and I just lost my mind because I found myself agreeing with Meghan McCain and I really wanted to gouge my eyeballs out. And she
Have
was
we
like, it doesn't
forgotten?
matter.
Have they forgotten how many times he turned on his constituents at his rallies? They ask him a question he doesn't like. Go vote for Trump.
Or he was ready to fight them.
What did he call that woman? Someone a
dog-faced pony soldier, which turns out it's a racial slur that one of our indigenous co-hosts let us know that was a racial slur against the Indians or the indigenous people.
So him doing that was nothing new. Have we all forgotten? He did this constantly while he was campaigning.
But Mickey, why is the public if this were Trump, let's just say that Trump got reelected. Okay, first of all, I wouldn't be in the United States. But okay, let's just say that was Trump that did the same thing. Those same people that tried to explain away Biden doing that would be like, isn't he the worst president? Mm-hmm. Isn't he terrible? Yes. Well, no, they're both terrible. Mm-hmm. They're both terrible. I don't understand. At one point, I understand why the electorate is asleep. But if we keep sleeping, I'm saying we because we're the electorate, if we keep sleeping, it's going to turn into way worse of a nightmare than what's going on now. The time is now to do things, not to wait on whatever it is.
But no, because he's only been in office for 6 months, and you got to give him time and whatever bullcrap they blow up.
I had that thrown at me a few days ago when they said only the number of months. I said, okay, here's what he promised to accomplish in the first 100 days. And I gave a list. I said, how many of those were accomplished? They had nothing to say.
I think that's it.
The vaccines, he more than fulfilled that promise.
That's the only thing I can think of that he did. But I'm like, let's just put it this way. The scientists really did the job. Yep. All he had to do is administer it. I mean,
exactly.
Is that really hard to do to coordinate states? I mean, yes, it's
so the bar is so low because Trump was so bad. Yes. The bare minimum seems like the ceiling.
And he may have purposely downplayed his promise because he knew it was going to go that far. So when he surpassed it, people were going to, oh, yes, you did it. Thank you.
But when it comes up to the midterms, and this is what, not that I'm giving the Republican Party ideas. Here it comes. If I were a Republican and I'm running in the state of Georgia, the very first thing coming out of my mouth is he promised $2,000 checks.
$2,000.
Here's your $2,000 check. I wouldn't say anything else.
But riddle me this, because he has a 61% approval rating.
Where did that come from?
I get your 30% Trumpers, hardcore Trumpers that won't care whatever he does. So he's still horrible, right? So you're telling me there's only like 10% of progressives that are really paying attention? Because that means 61% of this country is literally thinking this fool is doing a good job. I don't understand.
Survey because
did anybody notice when he was at the G7 that he talked them out of phasing out coal?
Yes, thank you, Joe.
What does West Virginia? What does Manchin State produce?
Coal.
At the World Summit, he talked them out of phasing it out. Coal has been on the decline for over 40 years. We know what it does.
Nobody wants coal.
Wait a minute, Mickey. I'm sorry. Hold on, because I missed that. You're telling me that the scrub went all the way over to wherever that conference was in London, I think, and talked 6 other idiots out of coal decline.
Out of phasing it out. Yep.
Because for some reason we are the world's superpower, and which I don't understand because we're almost last in any developed country in medicine. We're last in almost any developed country in education. The only thing we have is our military, that we put more money into the corporations and the war fighter, not the actual military members. And that's it. That's all we have. So I don't know why on the world stage we're considered the best of the best, because we seem to be dead last of the last.
Yeah.
And when you think of coal, it's one of the biggest polluters. Number one, when you're mining it, and number two, when you're using it.
When you're, yeah.
And he talked, I mean, the whole world wants to phase it out, and he says no. Can you even wrap your head around that?
But I'm saying, okay, let's just say he's against it. He's saying, no, we should uptick it. Do you mean the other countries don't have the spine enough to say, you know what, we're going to decrease it anyway?
Because we're America.
Yeah.
Are you
we
serious?
are America. We are America. And nobody will stand up to us. But for some reason, we kowtow to Saudi, but neither here nor there.
Yeah, I think Jenny, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. In this situation, America's like your weird uncle, right? that he thinks that he's gonna, play vinyl and whatever else from the 50s of years ago, and everybody else is like, okay, uncle, whatever, you go ahead, we'll be over here with our digital stuff, but you go ahead and you do your thing with the coal and have fun.
Absolutely.
I believe that the rest of the world is just looking at us going, okay, whatever. As long as you'll agree to everything else, I don't care.
Exactly.
That is just, I totally missed that. I mean, I completely missed that.
I think I just saw it yesterday. It was probably a part of that Friday news dump. You know how they try to mesh it in so folks won't lose their minds, because the number one thing we're trying to fight, along with all the other problems, is climate change. So most folks would lose their crap knowing that we seem to be trying to, I guess, make America great again.
Please don't start with that phrase, because I keep arguing America has never been great.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well,
great.
It has been for.
It might have been in the 1490s. It might have been really awesome. 1450s.
And we did make a lot of progress in a lot of areas from the 50s to 1980. We were doing really well. A lot of people moved out of poverty into the middle class. We had the biggest economic boom in history with FDR's programs. People weren't starving. Jobs, infrastructure. What happened in the 80s?
People, yeah, so I'm with Talisha on that. A whole lot of it missed us.
Yeah, but we also had a revolution with that. We had people, including white people, marching for civil rights, marching for gay rights, marching for women's rights. And we were taking little steps forward. Everything kind of came to a crashing halt in 1980 when Reagan was elected.
Absolutely.
Well, Reagan's the initiator of all of Trump's policies.
Yep.
But I wanted to talk about something else before we get into our main topic. This is an old one, but it just keeps popping its ugly head. Matt Gaetz will not. He's like that part in the back of your foot when your foot is like, you need to, like, it's callous. He's that callus in the back of your foot you can't get rid of. You try. But there is some news that he might be charged in July. If that is true, what do you all think should happen to him? And say why you don't think it's going to happen, because I don't think anything's going to happen to him.
I think enough of the Republicans can't stand him. I mean, it's none of them like him. That he could be a sacrificial lamb. He could be the one time they say, well, how can you say we don't prosecute our own? Look, we'll let you have Gaetz, because they're getting so much evidence on him.
Yeah.
They can't deny it. And child sex trafficking is pretty serious. Prostitution, identity theft, all the things that he may have done are bad. But you say child sex trafficking, that's gonna hit a few more nerves.
I think he will be indicted. I think he will cut a deal. I think he'll pay a fine. I think he may have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. But who cares when you're a rich person who comes from money? registering the sex offender doesn't matter when you can just fly to another country and violate those children, because they don't fall under the same laws as America, which barely you can call them laws because they only enforce it for poor people. So that being said, they may make an example of him. I agree with that, but there will be no repercussions, no real repercussions.
Hopefully he'll be kicked off out of the house.
You never can tell.
No, you sure can't.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Jenny. I'm sorry. I thought you had said what you wanted.
Oh, for me, when it comes to Matt Gaetz, I'm of two minds of it. There's a mind that says we already know there's plenty of evidence, and even if he's a icky acting person. So that part of me thinks, okay, everyone else is going to see that ickiness about him, and they're going to see what's really going on. But then there's a part of me that thinks, people have been okay with a lot of things and let it slide under the rug, and then maybe just make him go away quietly. That's happened in the past. So I'm hoping it goes the way that he is punished for what he's done. But I'm not very optimistic he will.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do think he's going to get indicted, but my intuition tells me that he's going to be found not guilty. I don't know why I feel like that. I don't know where I'm getting this from, but my intuition says, yes, he'll get indicted, but he's not going to be found guilty. Because if you think about it, the trial would be in the state of Florida, unless it's federal. So all those Florida crimes, if he did get charged with them, you have idiot Governor DeSantis is probably ready to issue an immediate pardon. That's one thing that you have to think about. If it's federal, which would be the better deal, that is going to be a lot harder for him to get out. But I just can't see him being found guilty, although I wish it would happen. I wish he could be found guilty of those federal charges. I just don't see it happening. Because when you talk
don't forget, though, Joel Greenberg, is that his name, his buddy? He is pleading guilty to several charges. Now, if he's pleading guilty to them and is going to be punished for them, and Gaetz is guilty of the same crimes, how are they going to justify punishing Greenberg and not Gaetz?
But think about it, Mickey. Think about it in this sense. I'm bringing up something totally different. There was evidence out there that Joe Biden did what he was accused of against Tara Reade. But guess who's president of the United States?
True. Very true. Or look at Cohen and Trump. Cohen turned state's evidence. He dropped all kinds of diamonds about what Trump did criminally. Trump has yet to be indicted, yet to be charged. Nothing. So the rich have it and the poor do not.
Same with Cuomo.
Exactly.
I am not letting that rest.
No, the Democrats were so outraged when it was a Republican, and now it's someone in their party, and they're ignoring it. I haven't heard anything about it.
No.
Well, I'm not keeping my mouth shut on that, especially with my legislators, the state ones, because number one, his sexual advances towards women. It's up to like 10 now, but I'm a lifetime New Yorker. This isn't new. When his father was governor, there were accusations going around all the time, and he hid behind his father's office. So this isn't new. And then we forget that and move on to him taking a bribe from the nursing home industry, taking all this money, and then immediately after getting the money, pushing for a law of immunity from lawsuits from COVID. And then after years of cutting funding to hospitals, year after year after year, he has to send the elderly to these nursing homes because there's not enough beds in hospitals, which he caused. Then that's not bad enough.
Right.
Over 15,000 people he sent to nursing homes. Over 15,000 people died because he did that. And
And
then let's add the extra crime while filing federal papers reporting this. He only reported half of them.
Underreporting. Yeah.
How
Right.
much more do we need?
Right. And let's not
apparently,
forget, wrote a book and had his government staff working for
Right.
him, helping him write that book. It's totally illegal.
And then when there was a shortage of tests for COVID,
Oh,
he supplied over 100 tests for his friends and family, had state troopers pick up those tests and drive them to the labs for results.
Wow.
but it's Team Blue, so it's okay. It's fine when
No,
it's
it's
Team
not.
Blue
they were,
Sorry, not okay.
you know
at
what?
all.
I'm going to throw in this wrench in here. I don't know, Talisha, if I agree with you, because remember when Al Franken was accused and his accuser came out and said he didn't even harass me, but yet he was forced to resign by Democrats.
Sacrificial lamb. Sacrificial lamb. Weren't they in the process of putting all that judgment on Kavanaugh? So they had to show that they were just as hold your own accountable as what they were asking the rest of the world to do or the rest of the country to do. So he was a sacrificial lamb. How many other people have harassed in our Congress and in our Senate and nothing has happened to them? Countless. Look at Bill
I
Clinton.
think, oh God. I think that's one of the biggest problems for me in the Democratic Party is that progressives are not Democrats.
Right.
I don't vote all Democrat. I'm not interested in the Democratic Party as it is. But in order to avoid, the terrible, I think all of us have been like, okay, we have to come together and get away from this. Whereas we shouldn't. I mean, we should have come together as people, as constituents, and say none of this is okay, and we're going a different direction, rather than falling for the same old. You have to, better, lesser of two evils.
Right.
I think, and I think that's the biggest disappointment for me, as far as I'm a progressive and I don't belong in the Democratic Party.
Oh, you just said so much, because we talk about this all the time. It's like, look at what some of the mainstream corporate Democrats have said about progressives. I remember, what did Barack Obama say about a firing squad? He said
circular. He said it was a circular.
It was like he called, like, AOC was wanting to do something. It was like, oh, well, it's a circular firing squad. Are you serious? Are you?
What I've been saying is that Pelosi and all the corporate Dems are in right now, if they spent half the time bashing Republicans for their lies as they do progressives for telling the truth,
right,
we might accomplish something.
Right.
But she's too busy saying we need the Republican Party. Girl, if you don't sit in.
We need a strong Republican Party.
Yeah, but she's got people snowed. She's got folks walking around thinking she's the best thing since sliced bread. She's trying her hardest, but she's got to deal with the Republicans on the other side, so her hands are tied. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You lost 10 seats because you are so feckless. And what did they do? They reward her with the speakership again.
Talisha, you were wrong.
That's what
progressives fault that
really,
she lost those 10 seats.
Of course.
What aggravates me about the Democrats, the blue MAGAs are no different from red MAGAs.
At all.
I don't care who it is. I love Bernie.
Me too.
If he does something I don't like, that I disagree with, I have no problem telling the world I disagree with that.
Absolutely.
The Dems, they will not criticize their own.
And Nancy Pelosi has done and said so many embarrassing things just this year that make me want to apologize on behalf of white women, on behalf of progressive women. Right. Like when she won't say that she supports Black Lives Matter, but she will say that Black lives themselves matter. It's that is the same thing. And for her to separate it like that, like, no, you can't say Black Lives Matter, but not support the Black Lives Matter movement. And then after the Derek Chauvin,
you mean when she George Floyd for dying?
when she thanked George
sacrificed.
Floyd for sacrificing himself, and then she was talking about her poor white grandbaby girl's tears of how sad she was about this whole trial. Like, no, and
I didn't hear that.
not a single Black representative was in the background behind her, and then that was Ilhan Omar's district, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I was listening to that live and I yelled at her. I said, "Shut up."
See, I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay. Like, I hated that spectacle in Joe Biden's office of all the Black faces behind him. Like he was really doing something by signing this federal holiday for Juneteenth. No. Give me these Black faces behind you when you start actually enacting some policy that benefits Black and marginalized communities.
Maybe put the Black faces in front of you for a change. Maybe just once. and maybe let the Black representatives do the singing, okay?
I think he was Black though. He just passed. Because you could hear it in his voice. So yeah, he's a part of the caucus. I don't know who he was. He tore up that song. I'll sing it for you guys sometime so you'll know how it really is supposed to sound.
Oh my God.
But he was a Black man. Some guy got up and did Lift Every Voice. And
the whole crowd was doing it.
Yeah, but he led the charge. Well, Nancy wasn't because she didn't know the words. And it apparently didn't look like Clyburn knew it either.
Which was, you know what, I'd rather.
Voice insane.
It was some older guy, Black guy, but he could pass. Like literally, he's probably about Jenny and Mickey's complexion, but he's a part of the Black caucus. I don't know his name and I don't know what he represents.
I thought you said he had passed, like he's no longer here on Earth. I thought you were saying he had passed, like, I'm condolences to the family.
Who would you think I was talking about? Clyburn?
No, I thought you said he had passed. Like he had
thinking or hoping.
I'm sorry.
That would be
not nice.
Tracy doesn't feel
not nice.
Sorry,
not like that.
But I still want to know from Talisha, who knows the words? Who knows literally all the words to Lift Every Voice and Sing?
I do.
I don't.
Some of them, I'm like, oh, I know the first verse and the fourth one. That's it. Second and third one, I'm like, nope.
And while we're at it, I also know the Korean national anthem. I've had to sing that when I was in Korea.
Did it, girl?
So, but I no longer sing the American national anthem because of the third stanza. So, I
didn't know about that until you guys told me. Didn't even know about
that. Arms because we've been talking about forever changing that song. Oh, you're trying to change our country. And then I think Macy Gray made the mistake of saying, let's change the flag a little bit. Oh my gosh, she needs to leave this country. And I'm just like, you're missing the point of America. America is supposed to be all about the freedom to express yourself. So why does she have to leave?
No, you have to express what they tell you to express. Because if you don't, you're crazy. Or
you mean you have to be like Candace Owens? Collective gross. Ugh.
Oh my God.
Some people make me want to say, Lord, why? I don't understand why. But then I say, okay, he had to put her there so I could stay aware because that's the only thing that I can even come close to.
Yeah.
Why?
Even though I know I'm going to get bashed for it, every time she comes up, I keep saying she's proof that there's such a thing as a Black-white nationalist.
Oh yeah.
And I know I need to put the umbrella up because the storm is coming.
So Candace Owens
can cover what she said real quick because that was
yes, please,
yes.
Topic.
She basically said that Juneteenth was just another way to resegregate our country, and if she had her way, she'd be celebrating 4th of July because she's an American. Well, let me tell you, Miss Azalea Banks, who is a rapper, she gave her the best retort, and I'm trying to find it right now because it was so amazing. I really feel the need to read this to you guys. It was basically to the point that if she was still celebrating 4th of July, she would still be in bondage because we were still in bondage when this country recognized its freedom. And that basically while her nipples grew tired from wet nursing some poor slave owners' children, and they were chapped, and then you were malnourished because you didn't get the food because you were too busy feeding these white folks who decided they were going to own people. that she would then get beat by that drunken uncle of that white slave owner because she wasn't doing her best. And then after she got done feeding everyone, then she'd be brushing the white slave owner lady's hair and putting her on her bonnet so she could sleep because she's so upset and frail. And then she would then be hung because the white slave owner lady would wake up the next day because she's so depressed and frail and be missing hair because she's so depressed. And then she'd have to blame the slave girl, Candace, for her missing hair. And then she'd be told to be lynched and killed. So Candace did not respond to that, which she shouldn't have, because she properly dragged her for the filth. And it was amazing.
That's a
I'll
lot.
be sure and send that to you guys so y'all can read it for yourselves.
She is never going to be invited to the barbecue ever, never, ever.
I think that if ever there was an argument for black on black crime, Candace Owens and what's his name, Clarence Thomas, who's no longer with us, but
Clarence Thomas died?
No, I'm misremembering, aren't I? Wait.
Clarence Thomas is the Supreme Court Justice.
Yes, I'm sorry, that's my mistake.
You mean Herman Cain?
That's who, but Clarence Thomas too. I mean, but I will say this: I've had discussions, and I'll say heated discussions, with some of my coworkers in the past, and a lot of people that are on the side of the national anthem is patriotic and we should keep it forever and ever. They can't even tell me who wrote it, when was it written, and why. It was not written in 1776. It was written in 1812 during a very inconsequential war. And Francis Scott Key was writing it from a bunker, and he never meant for it to be what it is. Never. That was not the intent of that song. So, I mean, how can you argue for something that you don't even understand how inconsequential it is, and that we keep it just for the sake of keeping it because it shows our power?
Right.
And the thing is, there's so many things that we hold dear, like the national anthem, like the Pledge of Allegiance, like In God We Trust on our money, and none of those were original. They've already been changed to add those.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The founding fathers didn't want religion in our country. That was part of the reason why they left the Britain monarchy, because they were tired of taxes and they were tired of that imposed religion. So the simple fact that we have now wrapped ourselves in this red, white, and blue flag, singing a song about hunting down and killing slaves and whoever helps them, and are saying, you know, God must be in everything we do. Even though I have a religious background, I will never force that down anyone else's throat. The fact that this is American values, this wasn't even what this country was started about. And darn sure did not start because of freedom, because there were people that were in bondage and there was land that you stole and murdered over.
And people who make that argument fail to realize that the founding fathers were deists. None of them were Christian. Thomas Jefferson wasn't Christian. George Washington wasn't Christian. Neither of the Adams were. I mean, like, how? It's that propaganda again.
Yeah.
Because we have lawmakers, and I live in a very red state, so we have lawmakers literally proposing legislation to protect the flag. It's cloth. It's a piece of cloth. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and if we are religious, why are we worshiping false idols?
Exactly. It's like you don't read what you say you believe, and what you say you believe you don't do, because if you did, you'd be a whole lot more open to Medicare for all. You'd be a whole lot more open to universal basic income, but because you believe this whole idea of socialism is evil, minus the fact that we already live in a socialist society.
And minus the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, Jenny, I'm an atheist, so if I remember correctly, didn't Jesus give food stamps to the poor?
Yep.
Didn't he give Medicare for all to the poor?
Yep.
Didn't he say, love thy neighbor?
Yep.
Didn't he say don't throw stones?
I mean, the list of things that these fake evangelical Christians
Yeah.
preach. They don't practice.
Exactly.
No, and it makes the rest of us look bad. Like, look, we are not
Mhm.
all like them. I'm telling you, we are just not. We're not.
Yeah.
There's
But
some.
when I write it, I make a distinction. Like there was a thing about Jimmy Carter this week, and when I was talking about him, and I said Christian, I put a capital C,
Mhm.
Christian Carter. When I was talking about the fake ones, I put parentheses and a small c
Mhm.
because I make a distinction. There is a distinction between real Christians and fake Christians.
Well,
Well,
Absolutely.
and it really gets me that representatives were worried that Elon Omar might vote for, based on her Muslim ideas.
Ugh.
And that just really, like, you can stand there in front of the whole country and say, I'm voting because the Bible says this
Mhm.
is how I
Hmm.
should vote. But I don't want anyone else's religion to vote what their book
Yeah.
says. Only
Right.
my book.
yeah, if we don't, and
You
I
know,
don't.
they
What,
what cracked me up when she took the oath of office on the
Quran.
Quran. Yeah, that was, you know whose Quran that was? Thomas Jefferson. He took his oath of office on that.
I did
I
Oh,
not
think it was
know
really?
Thomas
that.
Jefferson. I think it was Thomas
Thomas
Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson was never president. Oh, yes, he was. That's my
No,
fault.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
I was
hey,
like, oh
oh
gosh.
no.
you the nerd one.
Let me go look.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm every time someone talks about Thomas Jefferson, my head goes straight to Alexander Hamilton.
Mm.
Oh,
So
the
it's
musical.
it's
yes,
it's because of the
he
play.
took it on the Quran.
Mm.
Wow,
He took his oath on the Quran.
Mm. Well,
that's
I have no
interesting.
love for Thomas Jefferson, the
Yeah,
rapist and
I'm like,
No,
terrible.
but
well,
but if
listen.
he can take it on the Quran, why can't Ilhan Omar?
See, this
Because
is the
that's a
I think it
fact
should
that
be
they
taken.
don't want.
Yeah,
yeah,
it should be taken on the Constitution. That's the oath you're supposed to uphold as the
exactly.
president.
Here's what I will say about the whole oath, no oath for all of our Christian friends out there. You're not even supposed to take an oath. You do
Mm.
what you say you're going to do. Let your yeses be yes, your no's be no. Don't take an oath on a Bible. It's clearly in, I think, one of the Gospels, but I forget which one. You're not
Mm,
supposed to take an oath. Like, no oath, period. You just
Mm.
do what you say and say what you do and be done with this whole oath, not
sure,
oath. And
sure.
why do so many people in this country forget? This is supposed to be a democracy, not a theocracy. We
Right.
don't have a government based off of one religion. And if I would remind my Christian friends, if we did, that faith would not be Christianity, it'd be Islam. So I think you need to sit down, shut up, and let everybody else have their rights.
Mhm.
Well, did you see the Catholics are trying to prevent Biden from taking communion because he is supportive of abortion rights? I still don't know how true that is. And I'm like, great. Now let's tackle that pedophilia problem. Like, I think we need to
Right.
pick our battles here.
Yeah, apples and oranges.
Mm.
Oranges, really. I'm like,
Did you see Ted Lieu's response to that?
No, what did he say?
He's a Catholic, a practicing Catholic, and he said, "I dare you to take away my right to communion." He
Wow.
was pissed.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was not happy.
you mean he took Joe Biden's side, or is he saying that they were right in refusing communion?
Oh, he
No,
was
he
taking
he was
Joe
angry with
Biden.
the church. Angry with the
Because
church for saying that.
he's a Catholic and pro-choice as well.
Okay, see, now I didn't want to get down this sense. Doesn't they know they can serve them? See, I don't want to get down this road. Like, I don't want to. I don't want
Right.
to. I'm like, you can serve yourself to mute. Oh, goodness.
I have some
Guess I
crackers
just
and some
feel
wine in my cabinet right now. I will give you communion.
I'm just like, oh, this word. I'm like, no. What do they
guess
think
I
taking
just feel
away
this
from
is
them is
a
to do? I'm like, okay.
yeah.
Oh,
I feel
gosh.
like
I
this
hope
is a
we
pick
get
your
them.
battles moment. Like the simple fact is there is so much going on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
and they're going to
Catholic
put that.
Church has so much money. Like, let's
Mhm.
maybe tackle that homelessness problem. Let's tackle the kids that are in need right now that are here. And then maybe we can go pray for the souls of the wayward sinners that
But
aren't
what do you
doing the
mean
Lord.
the church has so much money? They
Oh,
are so broke from all the lawsuits that the
mm,
Catholic Church put in
Ooh.
for and received over $1.4 billion in PPE.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I think we
Oh
need
my
to tax
gosh.
churches immediately. I
Yes.
think,
Heck yes.
I
Especially
mean,
when
they
they weigh
have,
in on political arguments.
Yeah, and if you're, and you know, again, to my Christian friends that are watching, I say it should be all nonprofits because I don't want to seem like I'm just coming after church. No, they should be taxing the United Way because they have billions of dollars sitting around. American Red Cross, Easter, all of the NFL, that's a nonprofit.
the NFL is a
The
nonprofit.
NFL is a nonprofit. You were talking to a football girl. Yes, the NFL is a nonprofit. The NFL is a nonprofit, so is the NBA, so is the NBL.
Disgusting.
Wow.
But let's make sure we only get $1,400 in means test, whatever little bit of money, because we got to make sure the poors aren't getting over.
It's so ridiculous how people in this country get distracted by stupidity. I'm like, you all are sitting here talking about, well, the one I hear all the time, and it always makes me want to throw something. They took prayer out of school. Are you serious? We still have the First Amendment, genius.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Not the way they're curtailing the freedom of protesting, assembly, freedom of speech.
That's not what I mean, though, Nick. Let me finish, though. Let me finish.
Okay, I'll shut up.
In school, decides to pray, that teacher cannot tell them, hey, you can't pray. We all agree on that, right? We all say that's right. The teacher, what I keep explaining to people, can't lead the whole classroom in a prayer.
Force them.
Correct.
I don't know. It's like, why are you all? It's like, I don't know whether the media has something to do with this or people just stuck on stupid. It's like, wait a minute. No, this isn't making sense. You can't argue this and you're not seeing this point because the law actually says this, but you're making it sound like freedom of speech doesn't exist in the school setting. Now, I know, Mickey, yes, they're taking away our rights to protest. Absolutely. But I'm talking about just in specifically the school setting. That's what I was talking about.
Yes, ma'am. I'll tell you why they think that. I went to a very religious school as a child, and every morning we pledged allegiance to not only the American flag, but the Christian flag and the Bible every day. Every Wednesday, we would be in chapel and we would hear a sermon. And so many times they would say to us kids that we shouldn't be out in the world because they don't let you pray out in that world. They don't let you tell other people about Jesus in that world, and so many other things that the outside world does not permit or does not allow for. So when they're getting to be adult age, they're going to continue spitting that rhetoric to their children. And it's a very hard cycle to get out of.
Yeah, but
very hard cycle.
I agree with you because, you know, you saw my dad's picture. We were not, I mean, we were raised, maybe my parents were liberal and I just didn't, well, no, they weren't. But it's like people don't have sense. If you even sat and thought about it, like in practice, you can say almost anything you want except for fire in a crowded room. You can't go into a crowded room and say fire because everybody's going to run for the door.
It's definitely fear mongering.
I think that's it. And that's like, that's not the way you do it, people. You do it this way. Right. And I'm just
Jenny's right though. That brainwashing
brainwash is real.
It is. And until you get out and get exposure and actually are open to learning new things, you will never get it. Because my mother is, I think she's 67 this year. I think 68, one of those. And she still has not a hatred. I don't want to say a hatred, but she has that belief that being gay is wrong and they're going to hell. And it wasn't until I got as an adult and got exposed and met people that I realized, hold on, that's not right. That's not right. But it depends.
You realized it. You realized it.
Thankfully,
the thing is, you realize what is it about people that makes us realize things sometimes at a young age.
Right. Especially you, Mickey. Mickey knew. Mickey was an ally back in elementary school.
That's amazing.
That's when I started my search. I started my search on Native Americans from watching. As a little kid, I'm going to be 73 soon, Jenny. So I'm an old fart. But there was all the stuff on television back then was cowboys and Indians, and it
Yeah.
bothered me the way they were slaughtering Indians. I can't tell you why. It just bothered me, and I would ask questions in school, and I would get answers that didn't make me happy. So I would go to the library, and I was a nerd who was always in the
I love
library,
the library.
and I would look and look, and I learned so much about Native Americans and what we did. And that eventually led to Mexicans and what we
Yeah.
did to them, and then
Mm.
African Americans. And that started, in the late 50s, early 60s, long time ago. And why
Good
did
for
I
you.
question that? And the church. I mean, I wanted to leave the Catholic Church long before I did. My parents wouldn't let me until I was 16. But for several years before that, I'd had
Good,
enough of the bull.
good for
Why do
you.
some people reject that early on? Why? And then others don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Those are
good
good
question.
questions.
Yeah,
Mm.
and not to leave it on that bad topic, but we do got one more topic before we go into our break. Well, Chantel Brown now has the curse on her this week. I was so happy. I was so happy when Hillary, I can endorse the right candidate, endorsed her for the congressional seat that our own, not our own, because she's not a panelist, but we love her still, Nina Turner.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on why Hillary did this, but I'm gonna let you guys go first, and then I'm gonna jump in after you guys because
Did you see the meme? Did you see the meme that's been going around, or the GIF I made?
The Grim Reaper?
Yeah.
I was going to give you a shout out for that. That made my day.
There's a meme out there. I didn't make the meme with her. All these doors with blood coming out from under them, and people like Elliot Engel and all the people she's backed who have blood coming out from, and here she is in her black Grim Reaper outfit knocking on Chantel's door.
I love it. I love it. I was like, shout out to Mickey. I started smiling.
No, I didn't make that. I didn't make that one.
Yeah, well,
I
you
made
posted
the
it
other
to
one.
me, so I was so happy to see that. I was like,
I made the gift. I made the gift thanking Hillary for.
I was so happy. I don't know why, but I was like, yes, thank you.
Hillary's hated. Hillary is hated, and her betting against you is like the best money you can get for you.
Because did you see? I posted. I went to Twitter to look because somebody else said to me, "You have to go to Twitter to see how Hillary is getting slammed for this." So just for the heck of it, I looked. Hillary, who is not just a national figure, she's a worldwide figure.
Yeah.
She has 30,000 followers on Twitter. So just for the heck of it, I went to Nina's. Here she is, just a little local politician, not even a state politician, a local one. She has 472,000 compared to Hillary's 30. And I've been plastering that all over the
place. Well, we all know we love our girl. And Hillary just did us the biggest favor by backing her opponent. Thank you, Hillary. We couldn't have got here without you.
Yeah, we would have, but
I have to wonder.
Did. Oh, go ahead, Jenny.
The same way I wondered with Donald Trump. Sorry, my power just went out. I wasn't sure. Is this man so crazy and so self-unaware that he's doing these things, or is he perfectly aware and being a complete swear word on purpose? I didn't swear. See,
he's been like that his entire life. He's been like that his entire life.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder: are these people just painfully self-aware because they grow up in a completely different world than the citizens do?
Yes, well, they're definitely in a bubble. They're definitely in a bubble because
And he
some
had his
reason.
father. His father trained him well. His father was a real bit was a bad guy.
Piece of work.
He's a swear word.
And his father trained him. And not only that, but his father constantly berated him for being stupid and useless and no good.
That's
Mm.
So
terrible.
that's what he grew up thinking. He saw how his father did business deals.
Hmm.
You know, that it's been again in New York. There's a lot of stories about him that never got past New York papers because, why would the rest of the country care? And I mean, going back, his father was arrested at a Klan rally.
Oh my
You know,
God.
people were complaining, oh, sure, nobody said he was a racist until he became president. Excuse me, in the early 70s, he was cited for not, for discriminated against people of color. He would not let anybody but whites rent from him. He was cited for it. He paid his fine. 2 years later, he was cited again. That was almost 50 years ago. We were calling him a racist 50 years ago.
Right.
No, he hired
Absolutely.
Omarosa. So that counts. So
And Ben Carson. Don't forget Ben Carson.
and Ben
Oh.
Carson, who spent all that money on decorations for his office, but couldn't figure out how to keep rents low. But anyway, I got a couple of thoughts on Hillary Clinton endorsing Chantel. One, this is totally out of spite. This is completely out of spite. She hates Bernie Sanders so bad because she blames him. Apparently, the 35 times that he campaigned for her wasn't enough. More to get her elected, which she didn't do squat to get Obama elected, but I'm going to let I'll set that one aside for just a moment. Totally being petty. Yeah. Second thought, I'm so glad that Nina had her highest fundraising day when she announced her endorsement of Chantel. It was like, You want to be petty? She is on. I thought Nancy Pelosi was petty, which she is, but Hillary's got her way top because she's being extremely petty. If you notice in that endorsement, she didn't say why you should vote for Chantel. Didn't say she's gonna do anything. What is this Chantel Brown going to do? I have not heard her say anything, and I'm not trying to play her hate or be disparaging to someone who hasn't said anything, but she hasn't said anything.
Exactly.
I'm waiting to see when Hillary made that announcement. Nina was polling at 50%. Chantel was polling at 15%.
Wow.
Which means the people have spoken. And as usual, Hillary and the corporate Dems said, F you to the people. Yeah, we're going with the 15%er instead of the 50%er.
And I think this is a clue to those donors. Hey, give Chantel some money because she's going to need it.
Oh, yeah.
Big clue. I'm still wondering what underhanded thing the Democrats, I'm just like, I don't trust the corporate Democrats. I'm like, they're going to pull out something. And I'm telling you two things.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to pull out either the former person who held that seat is going to come out and endorse Chantel Brown. That's one thing I definitely expect to happen.
I don't think so. Marcia Fudge is pretty progressive.
You
Not as progressive. She's pretty progressive. She's got some progressive legislation.
I think the corporate Dems are going to come out and endorse Chantel.
I think it's
and Chantel's money is going to go
way up
exponentially, so she can buy
and don't forget the Black Caucus will come out.
Yep, they're going to come out. I think what's going to happen is she's going to endorse Chantel Brown. I think there's going to be a Barack Obama endorsement coming out pretty soon. And I'm almost certain that a Joe Biden one is not, and a Kamala Harris it's going to be all close. I could be completely.
I don't know if they can. Right? Like I don't think Trump would do it, but I don't think Biden would. He'll hide behind the whole. I don't want to put my finger on the button, which basically means I don't want to reveal my true colors.
I think
Kamala. What has Kamala done? Do you know anything Kamala stands for other than the fact that there's no racism in this country? I don't see her stepping out on that ledge.
What does she stand for?
Nothing.
Telling immigrants after we wrecked your country and caused chaos and violence, you can't come here.
As the daughter of immigrants, make sense. Make that one make sense.
That doesn't. But I think there's going to be some huge name that's going to endorse Chantel Brown because she's going to, and I fully expect her to campaign on I'm going to support President Biden's agenda. I'm starting out, I'm like, a big name's coming, and she's going to say she supports Biden's agenda. I know.
I agree.
Gonna happen.
I agree, but you know, these idiots don't seem to realize, you know, this isn't running for governor of the whole state. This isn't running for president. This is running for one section of a state. And if those people, obviously the people in that section of that state love her. Don't they realize that?
Think about what Nina represents. And this is why I think the DNC is going to pull something. They don't like her. Let's just keep it 100% real.
Absolutely.
They don't like her because she supported Bernie. She called Joe Biden a half pile of manure when she should have called him the whole pile. But hey, that's just me. I think they're going to pull out every dirty trick they possibly can.
I do too.
I don't see them seeing this as a minor seat because if Nina wins, or no, let me backtrack that, when Nina wins, other progressives are going to be like, you know what? I can do this too. I think that's what they're afraid of.
And I think because she's so powerful and so well loved, they're afraid of what we're hoping for. That when she gets in, she'll be able to kick the butts of the other progressives and say, all right, get behind me. Let's start.
Bull in a china shop, baby. She's going to be a bull in a china shop.
I hope so.
I hope so too, because the progressives need, I'm like, y'all need a cup of coffee or something. Wake it up, wake it up, wake it up. But this is the portion of the program where we go on our 5-minute break. I'm going to pause, audience, and we will be back in 5 minutes, and we'll see you all later.
Go away.
Hello, everyone. We are back for the second portion of our show, and we're doing something a little bit special. I asked a couple weeks ago for this show if we were going to write the president a letter, what would it be that we would say in the letter? So I'm going to let everybody else go first before I take out mine. Who wants to jump in first with their letter? Anybody?
I will.
Okay, go.
Dear Mr. Biden, if you do not push your party using either carrots or sticks, which you have available many, if you don't start pushing them to end the filibuster, to start passing legislation, end of next year, you are handing the House and or the Senate to the Republicans. And if you don't take these steps, I have to believe that you and a bunch of top corporate Democrats do not want these policies to pass. You're just telling us you do so that everybody will love you, but you don't want them. And unless you prove you do, I will keep telling people you don't want them.
Well, Mickey, that's how you started off right there. That was great. You said
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a whole lot to say. I'm like, well, let's yeah, because he certainly seems to be playing. It's like he wants to lose.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Jenny's away with her dog. Looks like.
Okay.
Talisha or Jenny, which one do you want to go next?
I'll go. Trust and believe I did not have to write this down. It's on a constant loop in my head. Dear Uncle Joe, you're a liar. You have not done. You need me to speak up? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we were having trouble hearing you.
Okay, can you hear me? I'm good. Dear Uncle Joe, you are a liar. You have not fulfilled any of the promises that you lied about on the campaign trail. I am very displeased with your administration and your lackluster vice president. I am very displeased about how you lied to get in office, yet you steadily sit there and say you're for America and America can do anything while you let people starve, you let them go without health care, and you let them go without basic freedoms. I am very angry that you have decided to uphold the race soldiers in the police forces as opposed to holding them accountable for killing and murdering people who, at the very least, deserve a judge and a trial. So at this point, I give you an F for your presidency. I honestly do not see the difference between you and Trump. And other than you just not going on TV and becoming a complete pig, you are still a very, very disingenuous and racist person. And I hope that at least for the next couple of years, you do the least amount of harm like I voted for you to do, because I did not expect for you to do anything. You've excelled those expectations and did less than nothing. And so here's hoping that an actual progressive will come and challenge you in the next couple of years. That way we don't have to see whatever Red MAGA has in store for us. I bid you a adieu. Adieu. Okay.
Wow.
Sign of very unhappy citizen.
Throwing shade. I love it.
Wow. Okay, Jenny, you go next.
Well, so you said no swearing, so my letter's very short.
Perfect.
So, you know, I can't say, I would have to say to whom it may concern, right? You're not dear anybody. Mr. President, thank you for the $2,000 checks that you promised us. It did a world of good for all of us. And for canceling student debt, that was great too. I'm free of student debt thanks to you. And Medicare for all, that was a big one. I'm really, oh wait, these are the things you promised to do, but you have not yet done. So I guess I'm not really sending this letter anyways. The only thing that I have to say that he did that made me happy was defeat Donald Trump. I think the rest of it is just noise.
Well,
sincerely.
You all kept your letter short. I went the long preacher route on mine. I'm like, wait a minute. So
I didn't write a letter. I didn't write a letter. Like Talisha, it's been going around in my head for months.
So I wanted, before I get to my letter, because mine has a little bit of humor because I have to be me. What, like, if you could really, really talk to Biden, I'm pretty sure you would all say exactly what you just said with a couple of words that aren't allowed on this show. Fairly certain of that. But what part of the letter would you really say? Because I know none of you are going to cut short what you would say. It would just not happen that way. So what?
Biden, grow a set and make believe you're a leader.
Whoa.
I don't know if I'd even send him a letter. Biden is stuck in his ways. He doesn't want real change, just like Nikki said. And anything we've said, or even if we were able to speak to him in person, will fall on deaf ears. He will hit us with a bunch of platitudes and the right words to say, yet follow it with no action. At this point, the only thing we can hope is that we don't fall into another war, we don't fall into another pandemic, and we don't fall into a massive, massive financial bubble that's about to collapse, because there will be nothing behind it other than bailing out more rich folks and poor people sinking further into the ground and the middle class being totally obliterated. So honestly, there is nothing I can say to Biden other than please hurry up and let these 4 years be over.
Yes.
Yep, that's pretty much. So I'm going to do mine. So first of all, like Jenny, I don't even feel comfortable calling you president. There's nothing that you've done that has deemed you to be president. The only reason you were ever president is because the DNC decided that you were the best one out of a bunch of other corporate Democrats. In my mind, Bernie Sanders should be president of the United States. You're never going to make me change my mind. You pretended, or you did a really good job, which I'm going to actually compliment you on, of fooling people for voting for you. Now, I know some people voted for you because Trump is worse, and Trump is terrible, trust me. But really, if you look at your character, you're no different than what he is. You both have rape allegations against you. You both want to increase the military's budget. You're both against Medicare for all. So I really can't see any difference between you and the orange person that occupied the seat before you. I think your presidency, if you want to call it that, is a complete failure. You got COVID right, but it wasn't due to your own organization. It was due to the people that surrounded you, thank goodness. But that is very basic what you got right. Everything else you've done has been terrible. Let's start off with the $2,000 checks that never appeared. This is a pandemic, which we are still in. And yes, we do have vaccines, and yes, they seem to be working, but people are still financially struggling. So instead of being open to a monthly based income, you somehow convinced progressives that a $2,000 check was coming. So they said, oh, vote for Joe. But then a couple of days after the election, you decided, you know what? 1,400, you already got 6. So I'll just make up the 1,400 and that equals 2,000. Well, sir, it does not. A $600 check is a $600 check, and a $1,400 check is a $1,400 check. And yes, they do add up to 2,000. But really, what is $2,000? $2,000 is enough to pay for what? A couple of car payments, maybe rent, maybe mortgage. If employees are giving raises to people, if landlords are deciding not to evict people, that $2,000, while I think it's not nearly enough, was at least something to say, you know what, I understand what you're going through. I'm also disappointed that there hasn't been enough talks about future monthly checks. We need a monthly income for all Americans making under, I would say, $100,000, because really $100,000 a year, really, if you think about it, isn't a whole lot of money. I think we need that income. I think that we need Medicare for all, but you're against it. So while you're okay with us paying for your health care, you have some kind of intellectual problem paying for mine. That makes no sense, but yes, it does, because you take money from corporate interests. So I say, I hope you lose the House. I hope you lose the Senate. And the way I'm feeling, I hope you lose the presidency, because your administration stinks. It is awful. It is terrible. I've always been taught you respect your elders, but I don't have any respect for you. Your so-called black and convenient vice president, your cabinet, which you only got one of those right, which thank goodness you did get one right. I have no respect. I can't wait for a progressive to run against you so I can vote against you. And like I said, I hope the House is lost. I hope the Senate is lost. I shouldn't feel this way, but your presidency is a complete and utter failure. Sincerely, not yours. Boy, go home.
Nice.
That's my letter to so-called President Biden.
I thought of something as you were speaking regarding the $2,000 checks in Georgia. I'd never thought of it this way before. But not only did I want to say Obama, might as well be the same person, Joe Biden, he made himself look like a liar and a user. But every organizer that went out to get the vote for him, I'm thinking of Mondale Robinson with Black Male Voter Project.
Yep.
And other organizers like him who went out and convinced people who don't participate in our politics because they never see anything change. He convinced them they would convince these people to come out, and Black voters came out in record numbers in Georgia.
Right.
And now all of those constituents that said, you guys, I came out and voted for you because you said this was going to happen, and this didn't happen. Next time they come around, they're going to be a lot less likely to vote.
Absolutely.
I did that last time and I got nothing for it.
Right.
Exactly. It's like he didn't even think. If he had just made good on the $2,000 promise, just do that.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's literally nothing. You keep $2,000. I can pay my rent for 2 months, a couple car payments, my insurance premium on my car. That's pretty much it. It's not going that far.
And then they
I almost wonder how many times has he run for president? 3 or 4?
3.
It's almost as if all he wanted was to win the presidency.
Oh yeah.
Period. Now he's got that on his resume. He can brag that he was president. He doesn't want to be president anymore. He doesn't care. He just wanted that title.
Yeah, Joe Biden.
That's what I think.
Joe Biden has been running for president since I was born, way back. And that audience, I'm going to tell my age, 1974. That's 47 years he ran. He lost he dropped out the first time because he got caught lying for plagiarism. The second time he was pretty much the same thing. And the third time he dropped out because he said that Obama was clean cut and articulate, and that put back on him. So he got picked vice president. But we didn't want you. We just didn't want the other guy. We just didn't want him. We don't like you.
All right. His claim to fame will be, I'm not the other guy.
Talisha, when you called him uncle, were you meaning the creepy uncle that makes it dance? Okay, because I'm like,
absolutely.
Or like Uncle Sam.
I
don't call him that. All I call him is Biden. I don't say Mr. Biden. I don't say Mr. President. I don't say President Biden. All I call him is Biden because, okay, as far as respecting your elders, he's only a few years older than I am. And as far as I'm concerned, respect is earned.
Not given.
Absolutely.
When it comes to respecting your elders, in that sense, it doesn't mean respect the people that are older than you. It means respect the people that are higher than you, people who you look up to. Not just because this person's older than me, I have to respect them. I'm going to respect the people that I deem respectable.
Right. Well, I personally do respect my elders. Folks that are older than me, they will always get the customs and courtesies until they prove me otherwise. Get me alone in the room with Jim Clyburn.
Completely fair. Yeah.
I agree with that.
But the one thing, Tracy, if I can say, with your letter, the only thing I would take a little bit of issue with is I hope you lose the House and the Senate. I think at this point, as minimal as a low bar as they're passing, covering, crossing, whatever, I think they are at least the thin line between us losing total freedoms. I think they are trying to take our voting rights. They are trying to take education out of school that would at least let people know that you're not 40 years old like Talisha and finding out that Dr. Seuss was a racist. You know what I'm saying? So they are the thin line between us and total, authoritarianism when it comes to these Republicans.
I get what you're saying, but the reason I say I hope that is because they need to wake the tarnation up.
Did it wake them up the last time?
I'm going to disagree with you, Talisha. I'm going to disagree with you.
I hope they lose.
Just because they're not blocking people from voting. What are they doing to stop the Republicans from blocking people from voting?
They're doing nothing.
As long as, it's the same, I feel it's the same argument that people say, well, there are some good cops out there. Well, if the good cop sees a bad cop abusing someone and doesn't stop him or doesn't report him, just because he's not abusing, he's still a bad cop. Same thing.
I agree with you. However, if they take over federally, they will pass these laws federally. At least we can stand on the thought process that, mostly red states are doing this foolishness and blue states can still have some type of freedom. And then there's somebody in the local level that can fight. If they have totally taken over the government, like they did when Trump was first elected, we will be up its creek without a paddle. You saw they're already coming for pro-choice rights in the Supreme Court, and I don't know how long before it's passed. You know, they've already tried to come for the little bit of crap Obamacare. So no, they're not good. They're not
You know,
preferred.
New York is a very, very blue state. I mean, we vote blue. There's no two ways about it. We are, we have just had a proposal for Medicare for all statewide. It was voted down.
No.
We have had a number of laws on the that are looking to be passed now, voting laws, no better than the ones down south. What
Yeah,
hope is there if the blue states are doing this?
yeah, and that's where I say that Nikki is saying exactly the reason I said I hope they lose the Senate and I hope they lose the House and I hope they lose the presidency because I'm so tired of them. Look how the voting rights. Listen, fully to Alicia what I say, and you can still disagree with me. That's fine.
Listening.
Look at how they taken the voting rights and have let Joe Manchin just totally take that and make it swap.
Yeah.
Now the Voting Rights Act is down to yes, you have to show ID, but it can be your light bill or your gas. No, it shouldn't be any ID. You should just be able to show up, say, my name is Tracy. Well, wait a minute, let me backtrack. Voting ballot should be mailed to you in the first place. Let's get that off the table.
And registration should be automatic.
And registration,
when that's how it is here in Oregon.
You are automatically registered to vote. But what do they do? Oh, Joe Manchin has to find 10 Republicans who've already said they're not going to do anything that Joe Biden wants. So, no, you're going to keep rolling with that? Goodbye.
Yeah, but did that help when Obama lost the House and the Senate?
Well, Obama lost the House and Senate because he backtracked on everything he said.
But this is my point. What did they learn? And then Trump got all three. What did they learn? They learned nothing. So we would really be cutting off our noses to spite our face. Yes, I think they're terrible guys. Don't think of me saying this little bit of shield is some kind of great thing. I think they're terrible. If I could vote them out today, I would, and replace them with 1,000 Nina and Bernies. Okay. But my point is, unfettered, the Republicans will do their worst.
So you'd rather have a Joe Manchin than a Bernie?
No, I'd rather go primary his butt when we have the opportunity. But I don't want to say we lose all advantage, whatever little advantage that is, because it will get worse. It got worse. We saw these last 4 years. They were bad. Yeah,
but you know they're going to lose the Senate. You know that, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Has no chance of beating Marco Rubio, who I really want to throw up when I say his name. Really, if little old Rahm Emanuel makes me sick, Mark Rubio, he's second. Like, but they have literally, what are they campaigning on? What literally is a Democrat going to campaign on?
But that's not losing a Democratic seat. That's an already red seat. I'm talking about the little bit we have, that little one person advantage we have. Is it even one person? Actually, we got a 50-50 advantage and Kamala's the vote, right? So we may, but it won't be better if we lose. Look at what Mitch McConnell did. You know what I'm saying? He was terrible. Don't get it twisted. I'm not caping for these corporate Democrats. I can't stand them. My point is, McConnell is the devil. Well, we know, but I'd rather dance with the devil I know. And as much as I can't stand them and I want them all gone, I want a primary Schumer, I want a primary Pelosi, I want a primary Gillibrand, I want a primary all these suckers. I want them all gone. But I'd rather us come for them than the Republicans come for us to teach us a lesson, because we haven't learned anything in the last 8 years. We haven't learned nothing.
Okay, Jenny, I'm gonna let you jump in because we kind of pushed you out there.
No, that was lovely.
Jenny, we're very passionate and we're not shy, so come out fighting.
Yeah, you're gonna have to swing a little bit.
I think that what we've been doing, or what our representatives have been doing, is not really it's not really indicative of us having any kind of advantage. And for odd reasons, like whatever a Senate parliamentarian is, right? and then Kristen Sinema, she's a Democrat, but she's voting against Democratic bills. And Joe Manchin, he's not letting us get rid of the filibuster. And I don't think I've even heard a peep from Chuck Schumer, who is meant to be in charge of that. You know, he's meant to be keeping our party members in line. Why is this happening when we've worked so hard to get where we are, to get representatives that are going to speak on behalf of the people, and they're not being held responsible to their own party? So it really doesn't, I mean, it's not going to make a difference, I think, whether we have the leader, whether we don't, because the Democrats don't take initiative. They don't use what they have as an advantage. They just say, okay, now there's more of us. We can go to brunch and
collect more money.
Yeah.
Well, Schumer came out and said he wants to end the filibuster. Is he pressuring Manchin or Sinema or anybody else?
And then Nancy Pelosi said, because you know it has to go through both the House and the Senate, she said that she wasn't even going to hear any type of bills that would end the, like, are you serious, lady? Are you
and this
serious?
is why it doesn't matter. This is
that's
why
what I'm saying.
The Progressive Party should not be part of the Democratic Party.
No.
Exactly. I'm so glad we got you. Because that is right. That is like 100% right. Look at what they do. You know, when they lose, if they lose one or keep the other one, they're going to blame progressives. We already know that. Look at what Alicia's favorite representative, Joe Clyburn, did. Jim. Whatever his name is, the sellout. Like, he stood there and said, oh, it was defund the police. Boy, if you don't sit yourself down somewhere, if you don't, that's what we should do. We should have if you don't sit yourself down award. Because some of these, I'm like, y'all need to really stop. Why?
I would have given that award to Nancy Pelosi when she said that sit down.
I'm going to give it to Maxine Waters because she's worse. She got Porter off of her committee when she was doing an outstanding job, just doing a great job.
Because Porter's messing up the church's money. That's why.
Yeah,
it's so sick. It's so sick.
It makes me sick, and
Schumer, my senator. But I'll tell you, we have some real winners coming out of New York. My senator, we have not heard a peep from him in 4.5 years. Nothing. He's up for re-election next year. All of a sudden, he woke up.
You know,
now he's starting to talk.
Because he's afraid AOC is going to primary him. That's why he's like, I better start talking. I better start talking.
But at this point, you guys, at some point, we got to stop blaming these politicians. We got to start blaming the electorate. You keep putting feckless upon feckless upon feckless back in office for years. There's no reason why somebody should be in the Senate for 40 plus years. I love me some Bernie Sanders, but I guarantee you if he had somebody coming behind him that could take the reins, he'd gladly step down. Because there's no reason you should be in the Senate for 40 years.
I think that if, and I'm going to say the youth, it's going to make me sound old, but, you know, early 20s, kids that are just starting to vote and be a part of it, they don't come out as much for senators and congresspeople.
Absolutely.
And so, and that's why these people are staying for 40 years, because if kids were looking at this old man and being like, you don't represent me in any way. We don't have the same values. And I think that that's probably a miseducation purposely done to our youth. Is we get really excited about voting for president, right? And then everything else is just like, do they even know what the senator is responsible for and why it's so important to vote?
You wouldn't believe, never mind just the youth, some of the discussions I've had over the past couple of years, the ignorance of the electorate. I had a woman tell me outright, the Senate is the only one, the Senate is the only one that writes bills. And they control the purse strings. I gave her, I just said, I don't get angry at these people until they get really stupid. There's a difference between ignorant difference between ignorant and stupid. Ignorant is not knowing.
Right.
I'm ignorant
Right.
about how a car engine works.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went, and Jenny, you don't know this yet about me, but I'm OCD about research. I don't
Okay.
care what the subject is. You tell me about a new kind of bug, and I'm going to go research it, even though I don't care about bugs. I'm just OCD about it. So I went, I got the website, the government website for this woman, and I said, here, this gives you the jobs of the Senate and of the House.
Sure.
Immediately responded. Immediately. You know, she never clicked on it. There was no time.
Of course not.
Responded with, you're stupid, and you need to go back to school.
You could have just pulled out Schoolhouse Rock on her, been like, look, watch this.
I mean, you try to educate these people don't understand how the government works, and they don't want to.
Willfully
They
ignorant.
and that's the bad thing. And you're right, Jenny. That's how some of these politicians. Why is Dianne Feinstein still in the Senate? Are you serious, California?
There can't be a single 20-year-old voting for Mitch McConnell. I don't buy it.
No.
And yet he wins every time. Like, it's like,
landslide.
Please don't start me on the Kentucky race, because I'm like, Cory Booker.
Charles.
Oh my God, Charles Booker, yeah.
No, not Cory Booker. No, Charles Booker should have been the one that eventually was going to lose to McConnell. Let's just keep it real, because McConnell, for some reason, they're falling into that old trap of, well, it's the lesser of two evils. Well, one, you're acknowledging that it's evil. Why don't you change it? Right. Your vote could literally change.
Well, after 30 years in the Senate, McConnell's state is the second or third poorest in the country. They're near the bottom with education, with health care, with jobs. And what did they do after all that? They just voted him in again for a 7th term.
Now, yeah, McConnell's another one's been in there since I was like had one digit in my age. I'm like, are you really serious? And that goes for Bernie too. I'm not going to just say, well, leave him because he's one of the good ones. But like, are you serious? What is your accomplishment? And I keep asking that of people. It's like, what? You know, when I came out and supported Bernie Sanders on Facebook, our great tool, I got a whole lot of, well, what is Bernie Sanders? He hasn't done anything for Black people. So when I flipped that question and said, well, tell me one good thing that Joe Biden has done for Black people. I'll wait. I still haven't gotten an answer.
He was a vice president for one.
There we go.
No, I said him being Obama's vice president doesn't count because
I mean, for Obama,
well, he pushed,
right?
He pushed Reagan for the war on drugs. As a matter of fact, he wrote a bill so racist that Reagan turned it down. Reagan! It was too racist for Reagan. Think about that.
No, Mickey, my question was, what positive thing has Biden done?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I kept saying, okay, you're going to sit here and tell me Bernie Sanders is racist, so I shouldn't vote against him. But Joe Biden is, well, first of all, I don't even believe that garbage. But you're going to tell me Joe Biden is not? What one good thing has he done for Black people? And do not tell me being Obama's vice president is one of those. That's not an accomplishment. That's a convenience.
It's a big deal.
Well, he did tell you, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black.
Oh, I was about to say that too. Do you know the amount of Black people that defended that ignorance?
Yeah, sure did.
Was like, he's
Are
right.
you serious?
I can't make this stuff up. He's right. Who you gonna vote for? Trump? You're not Black if you're voting for Trump. And I'm just like, why?
I'm an old white woman, and that offended me. That offended me.
I had so many Black people. Yeah, he was right about that. I'm like, are you? It was like I literally said to one of my friends, I'm not going to call her name because I don't want to. I'm like, girl, are you serious? Are you? Yeah, because Black people vote Democrat. No, first of all Black people don't vote Democrat. Some people do vote for Republicans. I'm not one of them. Some Black people do vote independent. I'm definitely one. Not every Black person is pro Biden. What are you
Yeah, but
talking?
90% of the black community is Democrat.
And that
And
whole argument didn't even make sense. I'm like, huh? What do you mean? So
it's
I'm
just
not black. Just to let the audience know, I am not black.
yeah.
I'm not black because there was no way, no way, absolutely was voting for. I know some people did because again, not Trump. Trump was terrible. When people defend that, I'm like, wait a minute, huh? You have to sit down and just be wondering what's wrong with you.
But then I kind of feel like those, especially those corporate forces, and we know there are literally different side of the same coin. They work in tandem because then when you try to tell black people, okay, listen, you don't always have to vote for the Democrat. I'm not telling you to go vote for MAGA City, but you don't. Then you got your Candace Owenses that's out here saying you're a slave to the Democratic plantation and you need to get off that. And so you get lumped in with the likes of her, and then your message is completely falling on deaf ears. So we're kind of in between a rock and a hard place trying to find, that spot where it's like, no, 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 I'm not saying go support, Klan robe wearing, Klansmen, right? But I am saying don't blindly follow these people because they say all the good words you want to hear. What is the action behind it?
But when Biden was saying some of the things that he said, and which is why in my letter I said your so-called vice president. Oh, once I said, why did he pick her? It was like I was saying something against. It was like you're treating me like Candace Owens. Really, all I'm doing is bringing to light her record. I don't know her personally. Of course, I think that laugh she has is completely phony. That's just me. I'm judging, shouldn't judge, but whatever. But people were just like, it's important to have a black woman as vice president. No, it's important to have a capable, progressive black woman. If you want to just put race in it, there were plenty of people. If Biden had selected, of course, we know Nina's not in the argument. Once she called him a half pile of manure, she was like, no.
I'm pretty sure she was nope before that, but yes, that did still her fate.
I think I told you before in an argument with a woman, a black woman, when I was arguing, when we were talking about putting Harris in, I was speaking against her, and I named 2 or 3 black women who I thought would be better choices. This other woman, a black woman, called me a misogynistic racist because I didn't want Harris. I named black women, but I'm a misogynist racist because I didn't want Harris.
Well, when you don't have a defense, you go ad hominem every time. That's just how it goes.
But think about and I want to hear each of you guys' opinion about this. Think about how much more the progressives would have been excited to vote for Biden if he had the decency, the common sense to pick a progressive black woman. That would have changed everything.
I would have voted for him if he picked a progressive white man. As much as I'm not crazy about having another old white man in, if he picked Bernie, I would have voted for him in a second.
No,
I think that's true for a lot of people. I think that in both situations, for Hillary and for Biden, they both should have chosen Bernie as their VP, because that is how you unite the party. You take the group of people that didn't want the winner and you insert one of their people in a very high position. That's how you get to unite your party. But instead you take these, I wrote down back to business. You take these people who are going to bring things back to the status quo, that the safe, comfortable place we were in 8 years ago. 4 years ago, whatever. Feels like 20, 30 years ago. I don't know.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
What you're doing is you're making sense. And some people don't make sense.
Absolutely.
First of all, there are so many reasons why Bernie wasn't picked. One, I'll say I think they're jealous of Bernie. This is just me talking out loud. I think deep down they're jealous of the popularity that he has across political. There were so many.
I think they're afraid of Bernie, just like they're afraid of Nina, because the progressives want to end the money in politics. That's their biggest thing. And none of the corporate Democrats or Republicans want that. They're so afraid of progressives getting in office and cutting off that pipeline of bribery that they get.
Yeah, but think about what to Jenny's point when she said if Biden, I don't know if I have a ticket of 2 old white men, how America would feel about that. I mean, personally, I'd have been like, ooh, Bernie's going to be president. And then I just but to the regular people, I just don't know if that would have worked. But like I said, picking someone a little bit younger, well, no, a whole lot younger,
Yeah.
and progressive, I'd have been like, okay. But like I said, to me, it's a matter of jealousy, power, and ego. The corporate Dem establishment would not have, even if they wanted to, even if Biden said, you know what, I want to pick Barbara Lee. There was no way.
No.
I mean, look at all those trash candidates that came out and ran for president. Half of them were put in there to get Bernie out the race.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, you had Amy talking about she's from Minnesota all the time, Klobuchar. Then you had Pete Buttigieg, who I still wonder how a gay person can be racist, but that's just me. I'm still not understanding that. I'm like, really? You're in a marginalized community and you're going to be racist? Okay, that's cool. Then you had, who else was in there? Gillibrand, she was in there. Then you had...
I forgot Kristen was in there.
Then you had...
It's been so long, I forgot.
Then you had Beto, who is Beto. Like,
now they want him to be governor of Texas. I hate Blue MAGA so much, you guys. Like, I can't stand Blue MAGA.
I'm like, you don't win. You don't win. Go home, sit down, live off your wife's riches, and be done. Just do that.
And the oil kickbacks he took. Don't forget the oil kickbacks.
Yeah, don't forget that. And then there was who else ran? Our favorite Cory Booker ran. Kamala Harris ran. I mean, I'm like, and Bloomberg.
Let's not forget Bloomberg. The fights, that's another one. The fights I got into with people over that. Again, a New Yorker. Bloomberg is a New Yorker. They were saying how wonderful he was. I would bring up the nominations or the for the candidates. It was closed. Several people dropped out because they couldn't reach the rules. Bloomberg, they dropped the rules to let him in after he donated, what was it, something like $800,000?
It was a lot.
He donated that, and then they let him in.
Yeah, and
then I started bringing up his history.
And I forgot about Elizabeth Warren, who couldn't get herself out. Like, girl, get out. And George Bernie, but nope, what she did, turned around, waited too long to get out, in my opinion. I'm like, you're not going to be vice president. Because
she didn't even win her own state.
Like, Kamala, we're supposed to forget that. I'm like, Kamala, you didn't win California.
Well, she didn't get to California. Oh, she ran out of money first. But she wasn't going to win it. She wasn't going to win it. Bernie had that state loan locked.
She didn't win any delegates.
No delegates, dropped out money. The primaries even began. Like, there was no voting by the time she dropped. She was out of money by December. They didn't start voting, I think, till because it wasn't South Carolina Super Tuesday, so they didn't start voting until January time frame. So Kamala didn't even make voting.
Yeah, it's just like, wait a minute. Now you're gonna sit here, tell me go to court, and it's proven that you fix elections. It's proven that you pick the candidates, and I'm supposed to just vote blue no matter who. No. If I ever hear the term vote blue no matter who, I'm hitting somebody. Somebody's getting popped in the face. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting stop that. Stop.
People aren't gonna fall for that another time.
I'm not. I fell for that with Obama, and look what it got. I'm like, I got literally nothing out of it. Like, what did I get?
If 2020 did nothing else for me, right? If 2020 did nothing else for me, it reiterated why I sincerely have an issue with President Obama. I sincerely have an issue with Jim Clyburn. And I sincerely have an issue with Bernie's campaign manager, Jeff Weaver. because he's the one that talked Bernie out of quitting when Bernie could have made it. He really could have, and he just didn't want to be hated, so he didn't have the I guess he's tired, right? So I am not too upset with Bernie because who wants to be treated like a leper? The way they treated him after Hillary lost her race, not because of Bernie.
And you guys, not to get on the subject, and I do want to hear you guys on this. Her book. Has anybody read her book?
No.
Oh,
I don't plan on it.
If you want a comedy
Whose book?
Hillary's book. Remember Hillary's letter to Bernie thanking him for all the campaigning that he had did and thank him for
he did 39 rallies for her.
Wow.
Is this called like is it why I lost, or like why where it went wrong or something?
Yeah, if you want a good laugh, if you want a laugh, and I'm talking about a really good one, read her book.
Oh boy.
He went in on Bernie like he was Obama. Remember in 2008 when they were attacking each other?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, girl, did you forget he campaigned for you? Oh, he did that because she gave some dumb. I'm like, girl, look at here. You stayed with that buffoon-faced Clinton. All them years you knew he was cheating on you. Girl, sit down somewhere. And I don't mean, but
then he turned around and did the same thing for Joe. And Joe crapped on him too. I beat the socialist. No, you didn't. Obama climbed the DNC.
Like, are they attacking? It's again, like you said, Mickey, they're scared of him. And I still think that they're jealous of him. Because it's like they're scared that Bernie can speak to a Republican and a Republican be like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. They're scared that he can speak to a Democrat and they'll say, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
But then you also, once again, you got to blame the electorate because they let that stupid behind Bernie bro narrative take off, even though no one says anything about the maggots, even though they kind of do, but not, they're not on them the way they're on. Like, they literally made it seem like the people that support Bernie is just as bad as Trump supporters. And then they never say anything about K-Hive. Kamala supporters are vicious little monsters and no one says a word. Yet Bernie must stop his campaigning to go poo-poo his supporters.
Can I say, I think that when I first read a story that said K-Hive, my mind went to a Kardashian. I'm like, what is this K-Hive? Why does our vice president have a group of followers like you would expect from a pop star or a reality TV star?
Right.
That threw me for a loop.
because they hero worship. They hero worship as opposed to treating them like the public servants that they're supposed to be.
Yes, and then you vote accordingly rather than you voting for what in your mind intelligently is not right.
Right.
And people, and you know what, Jenny, people do that all the time. People will specifically say, I'm for Medicare. Well, they won't use the term Medicare for all. They're for, and I'm saying, are you for the government paying for your health care? Absolutely. So you're telling me you're absolutely for government paying for your health care, which is what they should be doing. But you'll go in the polls and vote for somebody that says it it's on his desk, he'll veto it. Explain that to me. People on purpose will vote against their own interests so that the other person doesn't get in. And something about that has to change because if the electorate keeps doing the same thing, it's not going to get any better. It's going to be way worse.
I don't know. I have no hope. I think Bernie was our last great hope. There's nobody ready to challenge. Definitely probably won't be anybody to challenge, 2024, right? Because the politics, the political way.
You think Biden's even going to run?
I think he is. I think he is. He lied. He lied when he said he was only going to do one term. He likes it.
I kind of feel like it's going to be now he's gonna not run, but his VP will run. I think that's kind of like a grooming situation, but I could be wrong.
But it's also still taboo to run against when your party's currently in office. So no progressive is going to put their hat in the ring in 2024. So our best hope is 2028. And right now we have nobody. Like, I don't see any viable candidate for office in 2028.
Yeah.
Well, if Nina, when Nina wins in the midterms in 2028, 2024, she can run for president.
do it. I mean, and that's the one thing that not to say that I dislike about Nina, but what I severely disagree with her on. She's not going to run against a Democrat. There's no
Right.
way she's not going to do it. As much as I would be like absolutely up in everybody's face if she did, she's not going to do it.
Because it's that bull crap civility politics.
Yes.
It's uncivil to challenge your own.
And I wish
Well,
she wasn't running as a Dem. I
Mm.
wish she would have run as an independent to
But
show the people an independent can win.
Absolutely, but think about it. She said herself, "I am a Democrat." She's never shied away from it, even though I'm like, "We will run independent." I agree with you, but I know she's not going to do it. I just have that feeling.
Well, I'm with you guys, and especially like Jenny just said, or said a little while ago, everything in me does not identify as a Democrat anymore. I was born and raised into the Democratic Party, and therefore, anytime I run for office, that'll probably be the hat I hang, just because it anchors me to something that's already established. But and I think that's what Nina feels too. Like, that was just like we said, 90% of the Black people support Democrats. You don't have to be that Democrat though. So the simple fact is, she might put that D in front of her name, but she does not represent those democratic values at all.
Right.
Yep, exactly. Well, guys, we are at the end of another show. We're going to switch over to our, well, I don't want to say bonus coverage because that's what TYT says, but I'm going to come up with some name.
After party.
There you go.
There you go. After
I like that. I like that.
So now we're into the after party section. The profanity ban has been lifted.
Hot damn.
Oh, we have it. We're still recording. Tracy, before you cut off, if you don't mind, real quick, I just want to send a shout out today. Come the 23rd is my Aunt Carolyn's birthday. I lost her 6 months ago. And before I start crying, she was the most wonderful person I've ever met in my life. You guys would love her. She was a Bible thumper, but she didn't shove it down your throat. And I just want to give a shout out to my auntie and a shout out to my mommy because she lost her best friend. And she is, the closest thing to perfection I've ever known, aside from my own mother, of course. So shout out to Aunt Carolyn Gadsden.
Oh, she sounds like a wonderful lady.
She was the best.
Okay, not to change the subject, but to change
now to the party.
And if you want to see the after party audience, remember to like, share, subscribe, and support us on Patreon. Please support us on Patreon. We'd appreciate it. Okay, guys, we're in the after party. Let's go.
That was a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm gonna turn myself off for a second. I've got to go to the after bathroom.
Okay.
Yep. So, and I forgot to wish the fathers happy Father's Day, but this is a female show, so I'm like, well.
Yeah.
And one thing you'll notice, Jenny, in the group I struggle with is like, how do I? Because I have a lot of viewers that are male, and I'm like, but this show really not for you. So I don't know what to do with y'all.
Oh.
Well, no, there are progressive men out there.
There
are men with the same principles and the same ideology.
Yeah. I mean, in the spirit of how Marcus and Mondale, they had been accused in the past of excluding women. When we know that's not true, that was just meant to be a space for Black men to be. Not that people other than Black men can't be in the room, because you can't really have a stimulating conversation without input from people you don't know, right? So if men are listening here and they have things to say, I'm assuming they can comment, or well, we're not live with them, are we?
No, we're not live.
So
we can't afford a live show. Live shows cost money.
Oh,
Live shows cost money.
I see. And maybe every once in a while we ask the men who listen if they have anything that that they would like our viewpoint on, that maybe they have some questions about. And
that's a good idea, because I'm like, I'm against a male panelist. I'll tell you that. I'm against a male panelist. I'm like, no. But you know, I'm on team. I downloaded a dating app, so I'm like, okay, if he out there, he out there. But I don't know. I'm just all over the place with it, because
I'll tell you, there are some men that are queens.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting to. I'm like, oh well, it did, because I don't want to make it like, oh, I'm not. No. So it's something I got to seriously think about. But you know, I wanted to say so bad when I was talking about the Hillary story. I said I was excited, but you guys do not know how glad I was when Hillary said she was endorsing Chantel Brown. I was like, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Don't know how excited you were. I ran off to Giphy.com to make a GIF just for that.
I made a gift. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give her $3. I'm giving her some more money. How about that?
Okay, I'm sorry, real quick, guys. Back up just a little bit. I missed the part. Lil Mamba. I'm sorry, I missed the part about live. What did we say about live, and why does it cost money?
We go live, and I said going live costs money.
Now, how? How does it cost money?
Because I would have to have 2 laptops. I would have to have StreamYard, which StreamYard is free itself, but when you want to do extra things, that's extra. So I'll like I said,
You can't just go live from YouTube?
Not and have you guys on the Zoom party, no.
Is that right?
Yep, Zoom has.
Well, let's look into it, because maybe that could be like some investments. You know, I don't mind investing a little, so let's look into it, and you let me know what the costs are, and I'll see if I can afford it.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, yeah, you could do it if you had this, and then I had to buy another computer, and I won't buy another PC because I'm addicted to Mac. Like, Apple's got me now, and I can't.
I don't like Mac.
I can't.
I'm a Windows girl.
And boy, my sister was right when she said, when you get a Mac, you're never going to want to go. I don't want to go back. I don't.
I used to work on Macs. I hate them. I don't understand them. I have a mental block against them. So Windows through and through.
My PC the other day, I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I was literally like, dude.
I was like that with a man came to me with his Mac, and he asked me how to do a couple things. And it took me quite a few moments before I could figure it out, because I'm not familiar with a Mac at all.
Well, good for you that it's moments, because it takes me at least an hour. I have an iPhone, but put me in front of a Mac and I suddenly don't know technology.
It's nowhere near the functionality of Windows, and I can't.
I'm going to tell you something. When I had to buy that extra computer, it's going to be a Mac. I'm probably never going to buy a PC ever again, ever. I'm like,
look at you giving Apple all this free promotion. We'll take the money, Apple. We'll do your commercial.
Right, we should be able to afford to go live now.
But I never suspected that I'd be a Mac girl. And then I'm like, oh, well, let me do this. I can do a whole lot of things. But yeah, it costs.
Do you realize I started on computers before PCs were in existence? The only computer we had was called Prime. And it was just some distant mystical being. You had the monitor and you had your keyboard, and that was it. And it connected to this mystical being somewhere far off. When they brought the first PC into the college where I worked, I was terrified of that sucker. I mean, it was gigantic. And the computer started with 8-inch floppies. I came in just after the punch cards.
Oh, wow.
And it was 8-inch floppies. And then when they came out with the 5 1/4-inch, it was like, oh my God, that holds so much more. Then with the 3 1/2, I'm still amazed at these little
3 1/2 floppies is where I came in.
Me too.
That's where it was when I started.
Me too.
I'm like, Mickey, I remember that big square one. It was like that big, and you put it in the computer. I remember when
the 8-inch
one.
I remember when COL came out and you couldn't get Wi-Fi. This was way before Wi-Fi. To get on the internet, you had to plug it in your phone line, and then they go,
Oh, AOL. It was the devil.
I remember dial up. Oh my God. And AOC, not AOC. What is it?
AOL.
AOL. Yes.
Those free minute CDs that would come in the mail once a week.
Okay. I'm so old. I remember.
Too bad we didn't save those up. We could definitely afford to go live then.
Search this Flow channel now. They don't even work. It's like, who gets AOL for anything? Nobody.
I'm surprised my job doesn't have it. They're so antiquated. I'm so
I have an AOL email account for my for my sister on Facebook has it.
How about everybody was wishing Mickey happy birthday this week and it was her sister?
I still can't access that account since they kicked me off Facebook. Still can't access it.
What does she want? I'm sitting there trying to think of what birthday gift I'm going to give you. I'm going to get it out there. I'm like, oh, it's not a birthday. Okay, cool. I got another week. Okay.
No, I got a whole month.
Whole month. Yeah, I got a whole month. Like, okay, now I can think about it. But I won't.
I can't wait. I can't wait until I tell everybody I turned 53 20 years ago.
Well, I'm perpetually 25, so I promise you, it's going to be on my headstone that I was 25 years old. Here lies 25-year-old Talisha. Wife, mother, grandmother.
Wife, mother, grandmother. What's the truth? You can't be that much older than me.
I'm Talisha, 44.
44. That's oh, I'm gonna mess up the math. So you were born in 77?
I was.
Okay. My husband was born in 78.
Okay. Any January babies?
So he's in April.
Okay. We'll keep him. Yeah. He's still in the good year for the good time frame.
So I'm still old enough to be all of your mothers, except Kat, and almost a couple of your grandmothers if I started young.
My mom is 65, I think. 60, 64 maybe.
Have you infected her with your progressive ways?
Oh, no. I have a therapist for when I talk to my mother.
Oh gosh. Well, I had my whole family ready to vote for Bernie. Like it was nothing but vote for Bernie. But then we know what happened. So then we know what happened.
Oh, and
no, my mom is a conservative Trump Christian.
Oh God!
I almost choked on it.
I'm curious. How does she reconcile her Christianity with a man who is a racist, a rapist, a proven pathological liar, a homophobe, a transphobe, a xenophobe? I mean, how does she reconcile those?
I mean, I don't know. I will say that she has been voting for Christian values. And as far as I know, she's been voting the way her church has told her she ought to vote, because that's the godly choice. And if I'm not mistaken, it's because she wants freedom of religion, and what she means by that is freedom of Christian Baptist religion. And anti-abortion. And she will hold on to anti-abortion with both hands until she is dragged from it. As a child, I was taken to anti-abortion rallies outside of Planned Parenthood. I had no idea until about 5 years ago. I didn't remember it. And then all of a sudden I had this memory pop up and I felt immediately sick. Like I was, how could I have possibly, and I know it wasn't my fault.
Right.
But my presence there, a cute little baby girl, who's there holding a sign, "Don't kill your baby." That the mental damage that would have done to the young women who were going there. Absolutely. For whatever reason they were going for, even if it was for an abortion. And I think that is what many of them hold on to, is because you can't kill something God created, and because you want the Bible to be, and from the outside, like I grew up in the religion, so I know a lot of Bible verses. I know the Bible lingo, right? When you know how to pray, you know how to pray. And someone who doesn't know how to pray a prayer knows immediately. This person ain't never prayed in their life before.
Right.
So, and Trump holding his Bible upside down and then saying 2 Corinthians, like that's like, for me right there, 2 things. Like, this man is not a Christian.
No.
But
I
he
can't.
does just
I
enough.
really want to know and need to know how they reconcile those.
Also,
that
for the death penalty and be for war, but we're against abortion.
But it's all about control. I mean, we talk about this. We did this, our whole show on pro-choice when we did it. It's all about control.
I might not be remembering this before because I'm thinking of how they can be okay with war, and I'm remembering a section in the Bible. Tracy, you can help me out. There's a time to kill, a time to die, a time for war, a time for peace.
Yeah.
So I see right there why you're okay with war, but look at the first one, a time to kill.
Right. But that goes back to the Old Testament. They're for that eye for an eye, and they're forgetting about love thy neighbor. It's really convoluted and hypocritical.
They are wolves in sheep clothing. That's what they are. Because
not all of them. Some
of
them actually believe this mess, and they turn to their pastors, and the pastors are the wolves in sheep's clothing.
How can they reconcile it in their own mind? How can they look at a man who's been accused of a rape 24 times, including by a 13-year-old girl?
Oh, they don't believe it.
They don't believe it. But Mickey, you're missing the
cognitive dissonance.
They've been taught, like Jenny said, to just, it's a lie. Everything bad about Trump is a lie to them.
Yes.
His bankruptcy, that's a lie. His affairs, that's a lie. It's
the devil. It's the devil trying to make abortion legal. We cannot let the devil win.
Right.
God is on Trump's side.
And we know that Trump is pro-choice. We know it. He said it back in the 80s or something.
And
like
Lord knows how many he paid for. Let's be real.
Right?
We know he's pro-choice. But he says that because that's all that group wants.
He hates guns, but let him scream about the Second Amendment from the roof to the hilltop.
He doesn't even he does everything. He says what that group needs to hear. So when they hear something negative about Trump, it's a lie. That's the devil lying on Trump. Trump is God's man, really.
What about when he tells the truth? When he pretty much says he cheated on every one of his wives?
No, Mickey, that's a lie that the devil perpetrated.
No. When he says it, that's them giving him a mulligan. Don't forget that's what that Liberty University
that's called
said.
repenting.
Yeah, that's repenting.
That's him and you have to forgive someone who repents.
This is the whole point of this. This group that Jenny's talking about that I kind of sort of grew up in, because let me say this, Black people are conservative. I don't care what anybody says. We are not the most liberated people out here. No matter how much shouting in church we do, Black people is some conservative people, point blank, period, all day, every day. Say that, fine, move on. When the whiter side of our religion hears that, because all they want is, they think that if you make abortion illegal, that's going to stop abortions, which it won't. I mean, it won't stop it. It's going to make them do extreme things. But in their minds, they think if we can make this illegal, we will stop them. Trump sees that, knowing good well years ago he said he was pro-choice, and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell people I'm a billionaire, but somehow ask for their money. And I'm going to make them give me their money by saying I'm against abortion. It literally makes no sense when you logically think about it, but because their minds are so warped in that way, they're going to listen to anybody that says that they're against it. Doesn't matter whether it's Trump or Pence or Palin or what's that other one, the crazy lady out of Minnesota? What's her name?
Klobuchar.
No, not Klobuchar, the Republican lady.
Marjorie Q.
Minnesota.
Green.
That's
no,
Georgia.
Minnesota. Oh shoot, she used to be in Congress, and she's got that Michelle something.
Oh,
I can't
chemtrail,
remember.
the chemtrail lady.
No,
Oh God.
back when whatever her name is, y'all know who I'm talking about. She's a congressman.
Mhm.
She used to be in Minnesota. The wacky things that she says, they believe it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. But I'm gonna turn this whole corner because there were Black preachers doing the exact same thing when Obama was president. We
Absolutely.
all knew that Barack Obama was for gay marriage. I knew when he said he
Yeah.
was. What did he do to get into Black churches? He said he was against it because the Bible says it's a sin.
Yeah.
Well, he was for gay marriage the whole time. But do you know what he was told to do? Vote for him anyway. One, because he's Black like us, which I'm like, really? No, his father was Black, his mother was white, but okay, I'll leave that whole point alone. But because he said what that group wanted to hear, it made it a whole lot easier to vote for him. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like the Blacks, we do the same thing, but we do it towards the candidate
different
that we want.
Mhm.
Because I can't legitimately sit here and tell you how many arguments I get into every time I say, and I know Talisha and Mickey don't like me saying this word. Every time I say Obama is a coon, I'm like, he's the number. He is president of the Coon Club. Him, Candace Owens, polyester and zirconia. I mean, diamond itself. That's what.
No. It's rhinestone and burlap.
Yeah, right. I'm like, he's in there. Oh, he's not a coon and blah blah blah. And he just had a hard time. No, he had the Senate and the House for 2 years. What did he do with it? Nothing.
Oh, but let Blue MAGA tell it. His hands were tied because presidents don't have as much power as you think they do. Yo, I get into it at work.
Well, I'll tell you.
I haven't been fired.
I'll tell you, I do agree with that presidents probably don't have as much power as we think they have because our country is owned and operated by big pharma and big
corporations,
military, yes,
military, industrial
military,
complex.
yes, weapons,
and prison.
Yeah, you're right, but the way
prisons.
you make it, anytime you criticize Obama, well, Mitch McConnell, shut up.
It's like you can't, because Mitch McConnell is so bad, nobody on our side can be bad.
Ugh,
it's like Nina said, just because Trump is a big pile of shit.
Yep.
Just because Biden is a tiny bit smaller pile doesn't mean he doesn't stink.
Exactly.
Right.
No.
And in that vein, Tracy, please pull up the View clip with Biden flipping on those reporters and watch how they prostrate themselves to defend him.
Because I did have something I wanted to show y'all too. I was like, wait a minute, I got to show this one.
But you got to show this one. This one, Meghan McCain was so on point, and I really wanted to gouge my balls
I
out.
might have to vomit.
And they argued her down and told her how she was wrong. And I'm just like, what? Oh, at least he apologized. What? Has Trump ever apologized for anything? Is that the defense?
That's
Oh,
and again, it's something he's done over and over and over. It's not like this is the first time.
Okay, I got it. Hold on a second. Wait a minute, I'm still coming. Y'all can still talk.
Okay, you'll see it because it'll show that her and Whoopi got into it because they kind of get into a little tiff.
Point of view. I was just gonna show the clip where he went off. Okay.
No, I don't want to see him. They'll show the clip in that. I try not to look at Biden. It makes me sick.
Damn my eyes.
I know, right? Turn away. He's hideous.
Okay, Talisha, it's not coming up. Because I keep
Hold on, I'm gonna send you the link. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna send you the link.
And I was gonna show y'all one of my perfect candidates for president. Because this guy, he got it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't have to send it to me because I typed Biden flips on reporter, and they was like, he apologized.
Oh, already, they was ready.
Well, they wouldn't want me in that press room. I'd be like, how come you lied about the $2,000? What was up with that?
Yeah.
Well, Caitlin Collins held him accountable for saying he felt he considered Putin there was progress with Putin, and she held him accountable, and they tried to say how she lied on him because he didn't say that. But I'm just like, does that have anything to do with how he ripped this woman a new a-hole?
Or he's trying to fight his protesters.
I've got the I have the view up. It's when Megan and Whoopi go at it.
Is it like a
That's
little clip?
every episode, though, you guys.
No, this one. It's
okay, put it in the chat part so I can paste it and everybody can see it, because I literally
give me a minute. Copy. Okay, where do I put it?
In the chat room, like you're talking to, like in the chat section. You see the chat when you on you're gonna have to cut and paste. So you copy the
yeah,
link,
I did that. It's not
and then
pasting.
you go into the chat, and then you click that little box, that little bubble that says chat.
I got it. I got it.
Oh, Mickey.
Well, I'm having a hard time. It won't. I copied the URL.
Okay, then
but the paste isn't coming up.
Just do control.
Right click V.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or just do or type control V.
I'm sorry, control V. I said right click V.
Put it in there. Yep. And why am I watching?
No, it's not coming. Well, you asshole. I was putting it in the wrong spot. I was putting it up on the chat part instead of down the bottom. Okay. You got it?
Yes.
There it is. Okay. Good job, girl.
Brain fart. I was putting it on the top of the chat instead of where you type your message. Jeez. That's because I was bragging that I was working on computers 40 years ago.
But you figured it out. So you're great. You're still doing good.
Look at me. Look at me. I've known computers for 40 years. Asshole.
Now let me just find my 8-inch floppy disk.
Where's my elder sitter?
Oh, come on, hold on a second, guys.
It's not coming up for you?
No, I'm gonna have to do it this way. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to do it this way. Because every time I try to cut and paste it, it's doing the last thing that I pasted. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. Hold on. I'm gonna get it. I'll get it. Okay, so we're gonna go YouTube /watch.
Can't you just click on it? It's a link.
No, it won't let me click on it, which is what it usually does. And I did all this about
your Mac.
Yeah, now it won't even let me do what I want. Let me try it again. Oh, there it comes. Okay. Why do they have McCain? Why do they have Meghan McCain on The View? She's pointless.
She is, but she's right on this point.
Hold on a second.
Did you know that she's John McCain's daughter?
My father.
Someone get that girl sit down award.
Oh my gosh. If entitled was a person, she is so entitled. And then it's like they made this person, so that means the McCains aren't probably much better.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can see it?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you're gonna get the whole clip though. This is only like 2 minutes.
It's more than 2 minutes? What are you trying to do to me?
Which one do you want? What are you looking for?
The worst,
no, because they missed the whole clip and everything. Take that one off, Trace.
Really
here, I have one.
I just
look. I'm gonna make her do it all over again, y'all.
It is incredible.
This is the better one. This gives everything.
On that note, well done. And
Tracy, you have to stop it.
I want to hear what they're talking about.
No. Play the one I just said. It's a fuller picture. It just tells you a little bit more.
With the Caitlin Collins moment is that just because Trump was so bad, it doesn't.
You're missing it. No, don't play this one. You got to play the one I sent. It gives a fuller picture.
I know I'm going to stop it.
You are speeding through it. Hey, look, Golden Girls. Speaking of the devil, did I conjure up Golden Girls? Well, that was Golden Palace, but still.
You put out that golden energy.
I know.
As long as it's not golden showers.
Listen, don't knock it till you try
Okay.
it.
I mean, like, it's your choice.
Be no 15-minute long clips.
You don't have to watch the whole 15 minutes. Just watch the first couple of minutes.
Okay.
Oh shoot!
But I want you to get the whole picture because you got to see him rip the reporters a new booty and then how they fall over themselves saying it's okay because he apologized.
I'm all for get on them line. Can you guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's up.
Okay.
Up, then it's up, and it's stuck.
How you want to President, after his summit with Russian President Putin, yesterday 2 female journalists made headlines during the post-meeting press conference. First, ABC News reporter Rachel Scott made it clear to Putin that he has a lot to answer for. Take a look.
The lists of your political opponents who are dead, prisoned, or jailed. Alexei Navalny's organization calls for free and fair elections and to corruption. But Russia has outlawed that organization, calling it extremist. And you have now prevented anyone who supports him to run for office. So my question is, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Thank you.
Oh, damn.
As President Biden wrapped up his press conference, CNN's Kate shouted a last question that didn't sit well with him.
Oh, boo, look at me.
It didn't sit well with him.
Look at him come after her.
Mm-hmm.
Straight. I said, what will change their behavior is that the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes the into the world.
He denied any involvement in cyber attacks.
Silly girl.
Hey, yeah.
Tracy, can you turn it up a little?
Go get Daddy.
That's all we are. It's all we are.
Bobby, go on.
Biden apologized to her for being, quote, a wise guy with his answer. But,
Oh
you know,
my God.
what did you make of that exchange? I personally thought it sounded just like Joe Biden. You know, he's the one you catch off mic saying stuff. So it didn't surprise me, but did it surprise you?
No, I mean, you know, he's old at this point, like me, and we get testy, all right?
They sure love excuses.
That's not no.
And Rachel Scott gave Putin a tutorial on what the free press looks like, didn't she? And then didn't he go into whataboutism continuously? What that moment was. But I would just like to take us down memory lane for a second in terms of responding to the press.
Speaking about whataboutism.
Philip, Trump said, "What a stupid question you asked. What a stupid question." And I watch you a lot, and you ask a lot of stupid
I usually agree with Joy, but no.
She's lost the plot.
We laughed at Trump for 4 years for saying, but, Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to laugh at Blue MAGA for, but, Trump.
Trump.
Yeah.
Cautious optimism. He's dealing with a country and a dictator, first of all. He's dealing with a country that has the GDP of Italy, which is not, it's not that big. But the difference is that Italy does not have a nuclear weapon, and Russia does. And so we have to be very careful about what's going on in this particular time that we're in.
Somebody give me
You
something.
know, you and I, we were during the Cold War. It was very, very tricky. I lived through the years when there were nuclear weapons facing the United States from Cuba. And we were worried if we're all going to go up in. I mean, it's a very,
Nothing.
What does that? Yeah, that has nothing to do with snapping on a member of the press.
Look, squirrel.
Yep.
For a moment. And then he apologized.
Girl,
He's
no, he
such a
didn't.
nice guy. He apologized. Did you ever once hear Trump apologize to a
Somebody
reporter?
give me a shoe to
Not
throw.
once.
I'm gonna throw my
Not
shoe.
once.
I'm gonna throw my shoe.
Right. So
You can
Sarah,
skip Sarah if you want. She's annoying and boring.
Whoopi, I don't know about that. Whoopi's like, right.
No, but Whoopi joins the bandwagon. So, I hate Whoopi now.
30, 40 years ago, she was far left. She was a hippie. She was a pot smoker.
To imagine what it's like being in a
She
foreign
changed.
country, one of the worst, human rights violators, dictators in the entire world. That takes guts, and I'm really proud of her. And I just working at ABC, and I think that is an incredible, quite frankly, career-defining moment for her. So on that note,
I agree with that.
Please do me a favor. Put her in front of more people in power in this country, because this is a woman that can ask a tough question, and so can Caitlin Collins. And I think part of my problem with the Caitlin Collins moment is that just because Trump was so bad, it doesn't absolve Biden's bad behavior. What he just did,
exactly.
100% Trumpy. And I think I would just like a little intellectual consistency. If Trump had done that, we would be screaming at the top of our lungs in one way or another. And I just think that I have heard many people in this town in DC talking that the press is getting sick of this, of how sort of censored he is, who he can and cannot talk to, and then spouting off at her in a way that I found not only unbecoming and ridiculous, but to do it in a foreign country in that kind of form, particularly bizarre. And then afterward, after he apologized, he went on Air Force One and continued to talk smack, saying, you guys never give me any levity. You guys always want to be so negative. Well, it's the press's job to speak truth to power. And just because Biden has gotten a pass so far, which he
that hurt.
It is in no one's best interest to treat him like it's state TV. And as Sarah pointed out, that is the biggest difference between us and Russia.
Yes. Well, I to just comment on that. Yeah. The thing that I never saw Trump do was apologize to anybody.
That wasn't an apology.
I will take it when because sometimes I'm rude to somebody. We're all like that. I just want to let me just finish what I'm saying.
Can I skip past Whoopi?
This I disagree
You gotta
with.
hear them fight. You gotta hear them fight.
Megan's constant interrupting. She spews her shit and then interrupts when other people try to talk.
Be how you always are. We'll be right back.
You always are.
Before we go into talking to
So then Whoopi apologizes, then Megan apologizes. So you can cut it off now. But and then Sunny said some old bullshit.
I think
how they
I'm beginning to think maybe I am getting senile because just in 1 week alone, I was cheering for Hillary Clinton and agreeing with Meghan McCain.
Oh my God.
I know.
I literally posted on Facebook, it must be snowing in hell because I agree with Meghan McCain.
Wait a minute. Is this the apocalypse? Is this the four horsemen of the apocalypse? So I'm like,
it's gotta be, but you know what it is that we all have integrity and we can see when it's wrong, it's just wrong. You don't try to make your team right, even if they're wrong,
Right. Yes, so, exactly.
It's the same Whoopi.
Exactly.
When Bernie came on the show, if I was Bernie, I got up and walked out. I mean, like, that's it. Nope.
Yeah, he didn't get 2 words out before she was like, are you gonna drop out? I hate Whoopi, y'all. I used to love Whoopi. I'm seriously on the fence about, will I still watch Color Purple?
She used to be far left. She was a couple decades ago. She changed.
Money I changes people. Money changes them. She's in a different tax bracket, and these aren't her problems.
Right about something. Let's just stop right there. Megan, how far is the bar when Megan... All I talk about is my father, McCain. How bad is it in these streets?
And then you should have seen Blue MAGA on Twitter. Megan keeps interrupting. But did you hear what she said?
Did.
I just kept saying it's true though. Did she lie? Yeah. Where's the lie? I'm looking for the lie.
That's the problem. That's why I say Blue MAGA is no different from Trump's cult. You cannot criticize anybody on their side.
I think
because if you do, you get bashed.
Mm-hmm. You're either for Russia or you're a Trumper.
I think they're worse. Remember when Tara Reid came out against her allegations? Number one, Jenny, you don't know I do this other show called Tracy Takes On.
Feel free to come in on Mondays, though.
Please, if you ever want to come in on Monday, please do. But we got a new person coming in. We're really excited about it. But when Tara Reid came out, one of the questions my panelists asked, and I went all the way to the left, was why did she wait so long? Well, first of all, she didn't wait so long. She came out when it happened. She told her mother, she told her then spouse, I guess. She told several people, what are you talking about?
Oh.
Then they went to the Stacey Abrams excuse. This is when I was done with Abrams. I was like, girl, I'm done with you. Done. Mm-hmm. Well, Obama's people vetted him. That's good enough. When did that vetting process turn into a judge-juror? When did that happen?
It didn't.
Did I forget how a trial works? I mean, I've watched every episode of Murder, She Wrote and Perry Mason.
And Law and Order.
I absolutely know how a trial works.
It was Matlock for me.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And it was something I was going to say. I don't know. I think I lost it.
MAGA is way worse than Red MAGA. Way worse. Way.
My line with that, with why did she wait so long, even though she did come out 20 some years ago, is when a man, especially an athlete or somebody famous, comes out and says, 30 years ago I was raped by a priest, everybody immediately believes him and feels bad for him. And they should.
Right. That's true.
Let a woman say it.
Well, she was a Russian bot. That was the other one.
She's trying to hurt Joe.
Yeah, she's trying to hurt Uncle Joe. And that's why I'm like, I'm never calling him uncle, ever, never, because I always mean uncle in a positive term. And I'm like, no.
He's creepy Uncle Joe. That he's not Uncle Bernie. He's not Theo Bernie.
Call him Bernie Uncle, but him, I'm like, no. I did want to show you guys one thing. I have to, because this is how slighted my sense of humor is. Let me see if I can find it.
But real quick, back to the View clip. In the same breath that Joy said, "Whataboutism," she turned around and did a whataboutism. I was like, is anybody else hearing this?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's hard to, I'm not aware of anything of which I am willfully ignorant, but that could be because nobody has pointed anything like that out to me before. So you can't, I don't know whether or not that's willful ignorance or, I can't understand why just because Trump was an asshole, that excuses Biden from also being an asshole.
Right.
Just because he votes the way you want.
If you're ignorant about a subject, you don't know, unless it's, like you said, it's pointed out to you. You don't know that you're ignorant about it. I mean, we're all ignorant about a 1,000 things.
Absolutely.
You know, ignorance is just lack of knowledge.
Right.
Stupid is the willful ignorance.
Yes.
Yeah, stupid is it's right in front of your face, i.e. Joe Biden threatening to fight people at his rallies. Come on. If Trump did that same thing, he should be ashamed. Like, it's wrong for both of them. It's wrong for both of them. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta play this clip because if I don't, I'm always gonna hate myself for
boy.
Yep. Wait a minute, I got started at the beginning.
Bill Davidson.
I'm starting from the beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bill Davidson. And
I've seen this.
Me too.
On November 10th, November of 2010, excuse me. In terms of my background, I am from the village of Minerva, where I am serving my 13th year as of elected service as a Minerva Council member. In terms of education, I have a bachelor's degree in sociology, a bachelor's degree in history, a master's degree in public administration.
I think his oh my goodness. I think his campaign manager gave him too much cocaine right before this one. Look at that. He's like,
it gets worse. Wait till it gets worse.
He's like the addicts you see out on the street.
Yeah, but this is a spoof. This isn't real.
Oh.
I have been a Republican in times good, and I have been a Republican
It gets better.
Albert Einstein issued one of my most favorite quotes in the history of the spoken word, and it is as follows: in the middle of opportunity, excuse me, in the middle of difficulty,
Oh my God.
opportunity. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for. The Stark County Treasurer's Office is open. Of structure and guidance. And now is the time to seize this opportunity with an aggressive campaign and an even more aggressive campaigner. I will hit the ground running, come out swinging, and end up winning. Tonight, to the people of Stark County, and to the people of the Stark County Democratic Party, we're tired of business as usual. Guys require what? Drastic measures, yeah.
What?
Require drastic measures. We will not tolerate incompetence longer. Now is the time to snap the Democratic stranglehold of the Treasurer's Office in two. And I harken back to what my friend Alex just said. He ran against the Treasurer in 1990.
No.
The problem then, the problem now. Infestation. Politics does not touch football. Politics it always has been, and it always will be. If nominated tonight, I want to develop and expand my campaign for what I believe is the greatest strength of the Stark County Republican Party, and that is its people. I believe in the axiom that all politics is local.
Smart tests.
I want to harness the thoughts and ideas that individuals in our party have. Knowledge is power. Let's tap into this knowledge and use it as a tool to win the trade. Knowledge not only as a tool, but as a weapon. We must win this election. If nominated tonight, communication tonight. If nominated tonight, I win. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Tell Randy Gonzalez.
What?
I have no idea.
I don't. So what's the context here? What is?
I'll tell you.
I mean, the words are funny and he's really intense, but I don't understand what's happening. Like,
he's running for president.
But it's not for real, or it is for real? I'm scared.
It's fake.
So this is
seems like something out of
like
something out of Veep. It seems like something out of Veep.
That guy was a real candidate. He is absolutely, positively, he was a real candidate. He was
Phil's not real.
He is
Phil Davidson.
Phil Davidson.
I knew that was
running for council controller. Absolutely.
You're lying. I don't believe you.
Check me. He was a real candidate. He was on the Jimmy Kimmel show after this speech. What someone did was they added that music, and people were just typing in comments, and they just kept typing them and typing them.
Oh my gosh!
Candidate who really ran for county treasurer.
Mickey, you knew he was real?
I thought he was.
He's real.
The Veep character. I thought it was like a play on Veep.
No.
Oh my gosh!
Real.
He's real. He's real.
That's not okay.
He's real.
On anybody's planet, that's not okay. Oh my gosh!
You saw him saying for president.
He's real.
That was
just look him up.
Bill Davidson absolutely was a real candidate for city county treasurer. Absolutely.
Did anybody vote for him?
No, he did not win the nomination.
Ooh, girl, I was about to tell you, you need to pack up and leave today. I gotta send that to my sister. I'm gonna send that to her. She lives in Indiana too. I'm gonna be like, did you hear this fool? And did your husband support him?
He was in Stark County, someplace in Pennsylvania. He was not in Indiana.
He said Minerva. I thought that was Indiana.
That's Ohio, girl. That's not one of ours. Don't put
him on Don't put him on me.
We have a town of Minerva here in New York too.
Yeah, it's either New York or Ohio. It's not Indiana. No, don't put that on us. No.
Oh my God, I need to go lay down. I can't believe that's a real person.
Real.
Oh.
Real.
That's insane.
He's real. Phil Davis.
Oh. So now I'm with Jenny. I think he might have had a little bit of cocaine before that speech.
I need a drink.
He was like on level 20.
He is absolutely a real candidate. And there he is. I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to just share a screen and show you.
There's no way that's not too much coke, right? Like,
oh, that's all of it. He used it all. He didn't share.
Right.
He's absolutely
like my table.
Look at I'm not gonna play any of these, but there he is.
Oh my!
He got a lot of publicity.
Look at this.
Yeah, people love a spectacle. Wow, I can't believe. Oh, Tosh got him. I used to watch Tosh all the time.
I want to get his appearance on Jimmy Kimmel because that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh,
Jimmy Kimmel.
That's crazy.
Phil Davis.
That's when I think it falls into danger.
Ohio. Yep, Ohio. Minerva, Ohio.
Wow. He goes ballistic. So somebody put the music in there and the captions. I love it.
The
internet has too much time on its hands.
He itself is not funny, but the video, the comments, that's funny.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I thought it was a joke, y'all.
I know he's real. He's real.
Like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen Veep?
No.
That's the girl from Seinfeld, Julia Dreyfus. She had a show where she's this vice president. Yo, you guys, try to do some YouTube clips. When I tell you Veep is like the extreme until Trump came, and then they literally went off the air because they were like, we can't top that. That's what I thought. I thought that was like the right of the Veep. Oh my gosh. I'm in shock over here.
Can't send that to you.
Nothing shocks me anymore. Nothing.
That shocks me a little, Mickey. Come on.
You gotta give him one thing. He was passionate.
No, he was insane. He was cooked out, like Jenny said. Passion.
Yeah.
That was a high.
It might have even been bath salt. I'm not sure.
Stuff that make people start to eat other people's faces.
Did he? Yeah. Did anybody watch him get home? Like, are we sure? Oh my God.
He probably flew the whole way home.
Without a plane. Without a plane.
Yeah. So I tell you,
and we laugh about it, but you know what? Being around a man with that kind of energy is terrifying. Honestly,
I can imagine. Like,
I would not want to be in a room
with you. Gonna kill me?
Yeah, I would. If I were in that room, I would want to leave immediately.
Oh my!
Who knows what? An
like
aggressive. Oof.
Yes, aggressive and a lot of anger in there.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed. Yeah. I don't know what you. I was rolling laughing. I'm like, wait a minute, let me stop.
Because it's funny until I found out it was real. Now
it's traumatizing.
No, watch the clip where there's no music and you realize, oh, this guy, he for real.
Oh my gosh. Somebody probably thought that was perfectly normal. That's the motherfucker I worry about. The one that looked at him and was like, yep, that's my guy.
Life.
Well, he didn't win. He didn't get his party's election. But look at what we let skedaddle by now. I mean,
well, a lot of folks that are part of that insurrection are running for office. So that shocks me. Well, it doesn't shock me, but I'm just like, how low are we going to sink, y'all? Like, how low under the belly?
Have you seen, I posted an article maybe a couple weeks ago, and it listed names and towns where people are running as Q, and they're getting elected at lower levels. A lot of them in a lot of towns.
Can we guess
running
which
is cute
states?
and getting elected. And like I said, it named names and named towns, and they're winning. And you think about that, how many are getting in how many different levels of government?
Mm.
That's scary.
I think we have a whole state accused in Indiana because I'm like, Governor, what's your problem? Oh, the governor of Indiana decided to end the extended unemployment benefits because apparently $300 a week is discouraging people from getting the jobs. I'm like, you.
Well, you know, Maryland's doing that too as of 1 July. But this is the thing. They already got the money from the federal government. So somebody needs to audit and find out where that money is. What are you going to do with that money? Are you sending it back?
And Joe Biden didn't happen when he said, "Oh, you're not gonna
You're not going to game the system."
Yeah, game the system. I'm like, fool, if you don't shut up.
It's like he's accusing the whole country of being welfare queens. Like these people don't want to do nothing, so they just get paid to sit around at home.
Isn't it funny though? There's been a bunch of small businesses that have published. They have offered at least $15 an hour, and they're getting tons more applicants than they have openings. Now, when you think of this small family-owned business with a teeny profit margin can do it, but the companies making billions can't.
Yeah, well, because it would destroy their business model. I mean, I think one good thing about this.
Yeah, because starvation wages are their business model.
We can't pay starvation. Exactly. We got to starve so they can go on welfare, so we don't have to pay for it. I got to think. But I was hearing an economist, because that's my life. I listen to economists. Talk about how people who, like me, have worked remotely are now being told to go back into the office, but instead they're quitting their jobs.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. It's like nobody's really, like most people I know are unhappy at their jobs. Most people.
Yes.
I don't know anybody except for maybe a doctor, because I know a couple of doctors. Those are the only people, and even they're like, you know, this gets hard. But maybe
I think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jenny. I didn't mean to cut you
off.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I was just. I think that the quarantine and the change of pace led to a lot of people being able to spend time with themselves. And when you can do that, when you can spend some time on yourself and with yourself, you start to get a higher opinion of yourself, and you start to value yourself a bit more. So that's my hope, is that's what is happening, is that people are, they've been working from home.
Oh, you're breaking up, Jenny.
They've been able to pet their dogs all day, or now they want to go back in the office, where a bunch of people I don't live with are now breathing in the same space as me. I'm scared of that, and I'm not paid enough to do a job I don't like while
because I know, right, our company is looking at that, and the first issue, right, the first issue. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
I think
you're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Jenny's frozen.
Okay. She's frozen.
Now you're frozen.
Yep. So let me tell her she's frozen. But our company's talking about that, going back in the office. First issue I brought up was the bathrooms. Those bathrooms, they were already disgusting pre-COVID. Now you want me to breathe that mess in post-COVID? Like, seriously? I don't want to go. Right. No, I mean, I'm not going to quit my job because I'm the only one paying bills in this joint. But, so you're not giving me, you're paying crap wages. Taco Bell talking about you can earn up to $11 an hour. Well, gee, thank you. Right. Thank you so much for starving me to death.
Right.
And you don't even get free food or real beef. But I'm not doing But it's just like, why do these companies expect to get people? How do they sit there and tell the people who they bought off, you know what, $300, that's too much. What you want to do is take it away from them, and that'll make people get jobs. That isn't working. Right. People want to find jobs that, one, they like to do, or if not that, they can at least earn a decent living. Some of the wages, I see they're ridiculous. They
Well,
are.
what happened, I know for a fact in Maryland, what happened is the business community went to the governor and said, listen, we're tired of these folks not working. We need people back in these restaurants working, and you need to cut them off. And so this is why the governor of Maryland is cutting off the plus up for unemployment. So it would have, what normally is like a $300 a week is usually a $600 with the plus up. And he's cutting that off come next week or whatever July 1st is. He's cutting that off because the business community has said bark, dance, and now he's dancing and barking to get these people back into their restaurants to work for slave wages.
Yeah, but what happens when nobody applies for those positions? What are they going to do?
Well, people are desperate, so they probably will. You know, it's like we always say, it's the crumbs, right? So when they take away even the little crumbs, you're going to get so desperate to care for your family, you will take these bull crap jobs and then probably have to work 2 and 3 jobs. It's sick and it's sad. Our country's disgusting.
Working 3 jobs. I'm like, how did I had to be in my 20s. Had to be because I couldn't even imagine. But I was trying to save up for a trip to Paris. So it wasn't like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just keep this second and third job. I'm like, wait a minute, stop this.
Right.
I did that in my 30s and 40s. I did 3 jobs. But I didn't have to. I had a goal that I wanted, like you, Tracy. I did it for a lot of years.
I had a goal.
Paid off my home, paid off my car, paid off every bill, and put a whole lot of money in the bank.
I heard that.
Get it, girl.
I mean, and even now that I'm considering doing it, I had a job offer. I'm like, do I really want to? Because I'm like poop tired from just answering. I don't have my card. I'm like, if you don't stop. But I know that's not what I'd rather be doing this all the time.
Yeah.
But I got sense. I had some common sense not to say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take my insulin dependent self and I'm gonna do it just quit my no, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
But even it's hard to save money. That's what I'm getting to. It's literally I don't see how Mickey
is.
Because when I got to saving $2,000, you couldn't tell me anything. I was like, I got $2,000 in my bank, my savings account. Look at me, I'm doing it. Car went down. Medications went up. It was like, okay, that's gone. And then the interest that banks give is so ridiculous. Why am I putting my money in this bank and it gives like less than 3%? I think you get now.
Yes, less.
It's very, very low. There's no, and most Americans don't have like a savings account that they go to in times of trouble because they're too busy trying to make it from day to day.
Exactly.
Well, before COVID, it was most Americans could not. The best they could afford was a $400 emergency bill. After that,
Yep,
you're back. You were breaking up and then disappeared, Jenny.
I did. I went. My buds went quiet, and I couldn't hear any of you. Right after I finished talking, I had nothing. I don't know what happened, but I'm here.
That's the universe trying to shut you down.
Yeah.
No, the universe will be saying, yes, say it. That's what you want to do.
Well, then maybe that's corporate America trying to shut us down.
Blame the Russians. Blame the Russians like Rachel Maddow does all the time. Oh, will you stop with the... Look, we know Russia interfered in the election. That's my view on it. But America interferes in elections like all the time. So you're not going to talk about that. Okay, I get
We're doing it now. We're doing it now. Where's White House and Maduro? Where are they at? Not Venezuela. Maybe it's Venezuela.
Venezuela.
You're right.
I was going to say Guam, but Guam is a part of the United States.
It's one of our territories.
I'm worried about Peru.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Peru just elected a left winger. So that means the U.S. has to come in and do something.
Oh, they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay and have the traffickers go and take over the government, and then we'll be fighting the traffickers in about 4 years. Like about 4 years, we'll have another war.
Yeah.
If there's one constant, it's that we like to imperialize.
Now, Mickey, not to totally change the subject again, but to totally change the subject again. I go to TYT to buy a ticket to the Nina event that's coming up, but all it is a donation thing. I haven't got any word back about a ticket per se.
Why do you have to buy a ticket?
For the town hall Nina's having with TYT and
I would try.
and Killer Mike.
If you have a membership, are you already in it? Because me and Mickey already have memberships, so we could possibly broadcast it from ours.
I mean, I'm already a member, but they were saying, well, go to this site to get a ticket. So I went to the RSVP site. No, I'm going to show y'all better than I can tell y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting what you mean. Are you talking about broadcasting the show or going to the town hall?
And I was like, well, wait a minute.
Are you talking about physically going to the town hall?
I was physically going to try to go, but I was like, nah, Cleveland's too far.
Oh, they're doing it in Cleveland.
Yes, it's in Cleveland.
They're gonna go see Nina. Who's gonna do the interview?
Killer Mike and Shank.
I was gonna call him Magic Mike. Oh, really?
Yo, I call him Black Mike all the time. I don't know why. I have a block against Killer. I just call him Black Mike. Oh, there's Waz. I hate him.
Ooh, Rashad? You hate Rashad Ritchie?
No, not
no,
Rashad. Waz.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not. Okay, so this is where I went for the Nina Turner thing with
RSVP.
And then you go RSVP, but then it says donate $3 to support the economic town hall. I went there. I'm not gonna go there now because it's gonna ask you for your credit card, and I'm like, but where's the ticket?
Is there a way to? You have to donate to get the ticket.
Yeah, it says $3 donation per ticket.
Yeah, and then
well, that's not horrible.
Yeah, this give me, and I'm like, yeah.
Town hall
I
meetings
think members should automatically
cost...
get free.
They'll email you with the information.
And girls, yeah, see, that's what I thought. So I said, I'm gonna go to my email.
It said donate to rock the vote. So maybe that was a fundraising drive. I don't know. I'm cooling off on TYT. I think I haven't watched it in like 2 weeks.
I'm not a big fan of theirs, actually.
I used to be. Matter of fact, that's how me and Mickey got, so close. And there's a whole bunch of other folks that we had an actual TYT group.
Here's my confirmation.
Did you pay? You paid your $3?
See, it says thanks for your donation. Oh.
Was sent to rock the vote in support of their mission dedicated to building political power of young people. Donations are not tax deductible. Why are donations not tax deductible? That means it's not a donation.
It's not a donation.
But
the whole thing is going to rock the vote.
Yeah. So I had to go. Well, I'm in Indianapolis, so Cleveland is way too far from me anyway.
How far is too far?
I think like 5 hours. I can't drive that long.
Ooh, that's a hike. Ooh. That's a hike. Oh.
Wait a minute, let me type in Cleveland, Ohio to Indianapolis, Indiana.
But yeah, I'm with you, Jenny, and I don't think I didn't catch when you said Mondale Robinson. I was like, oh, let me
Yeah.
Were you a part of the whole Benjamin Dixon clickbaity drums that went down?
Well, actually, Ben Dixon is how I came across clickbaity.
Us too.
So I was there for that. And while I never witnessed anything that Ben Dixon did that, I should have been upset about or took personally. But when I saw how hurt Mondale was, I was watching live when that happened.
Me too.
And that just did it for me. Like, as a mama, when you see a face like that, you're like, oh no, this is not good.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. It sounds like Ben and his wife did some dirt, and now I don't watch him anymore.
Well, wait, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong, because I know Mickey, Talisha, you got your doubts, but I have my thing about TYT, but I want to hear Jenny talk about her, because I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
So I'll have to say I've never been a big watcher of TYT. But the things that I have watched and seen, I've found, I don't know his name. He's said some very problematic things regarding not only women, but animals, which is very disturbing. And I
Jink?
find them
You're talking about King.
maybe,
Yeah,
and I find them to be a bit more reactionary than more along the lines of Rachel Maddow. I think that's a bit overproduced, and it's lost its. I mean, I shouldn't say it's lost its, because I don't know if it had, but it doesn't have the personality that I'm looking for in a live show. I'm looking for, people who are talking to me like we're having a conversation, not people who are reading the news to me. And then the whole thing with Jimmy Dore. I don't know Jimmy Dore either, but both of them have said some pretty terrible things and accused each other of terrible things.
Right.
So I think I'll stay this side of it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a Jimmy Dore fan at all. Never watched his podcast.
Cannot stand him. Haven't been able to stand him for over 2 years. What this latest thing boils down to for me, that Dore fans refuse to accept, is Jimmy Dore posted a video, admitted he sexually harassed Anna, said that she had a skirt on so short that her ass was showing, which I don't believe, but let's say it's possible, and said it's her fault that he sexually harassed her because of the way she was dressed. That, to me, is unforgivable. This is what he said. This is the video that he posted. He admitted he did it. He laughed about it. He mocked her, and then he said it was her fault.
Yeah, that's your typical.
Because I don't like, just like you, Jay. I like TYT way better than MSNBC. Trust me. But sometimes they start with all the AZ stuff. And I told you, I'm the quote Jesus girl all the way 100%. You're not going to say the way. It's one thing to be atheist like Mickey. Mickey has never, ever called me an idiot. Never. He teeters on it, and I'm like, dude, one more time. You got one more again to do that stuff. I'm not going to sit here and have you trample. No, you're not.
Yeah.
For me, you can talk.
I like TYT because, well, mostly I relate to Anna, not as much with Jank. But my problem is if somebody does a lot of good and they do some things bad, you don't throw them in the garbage. I got into an argument with someone a couple days ago who said Bernie has sold out. He's now bought. He's now a corporate dem. He's accepting money. And as a matter of fact, I got into the same argument, the same guy who put Noam Chomsky down because he said we should vote for Biden. I said, you're going to tell me that a man who has done a lifetime of good, I agree with you that he shouldn't said we should vote for Biden. But you're going to throw him in the garbage? You're going to throw Bernie in the garbage because you disagree with a couple things they did?
Right.
That's how I feel about TYT. They've put a lot of progressives on their show and helped get them elected. And that's good. Is everything they do perfect? Of course not.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest problems with progressives. We are so absolute. Like, if you just don't fall into this category, you don't fall into this box, I'm throwing you away.
That's what they've been doing to AOC and Ilhan Omar.
Yes, and that's what Jimmy Dore has been doing for a couple of years. He bashes every leftist out there and says he's the only real leftist. He bashes AOC and Bernie and everybody nonstop, and he's never offering solutions. He's never saying good things about them. So is AOC? Do I disagree with AOC's actions? Of course I do. Right. Does that mean I want to throw her in the garbage? At least she's getting the word out there. You can't, like you said, they're absolute. You can't be that way.
Right. Got to compromise sometimes, as long as you're not compromising your values.
And you can disagree with somebody and not throw them in the garbage if they're doing a lot of other good.
Yeah, but
the thing about Noam Chomsky and Bernie, all in one sentence, throw them in the garbage. After two of them having a lifetime of good, did they screw up sometimes? Of course they did. They're human. You don't discard them because of that.
Right.
Yeah. Judy, what were you going to say before I just jumped all over since?
Oh gosh. I can't remember now.
I think you were going to say something about the progressives.
Yeah, something about progressives you were talking about.
Oh, well, I mean, no, I smoked a whole joint and now the thought that was there is no longer there.
And you didn't even share.
Here's what I was gonna say. It was about atheism. I do not believe that religion should have room in politics. Therefore, I do not believe that atheism should have room. And if you're going to have a show that is inclusionary, you can't promote one way or the other, or call one or the other stupid for not believing the same way as you do. Your beliefs should not be involved in political, social discussions.
He has also though said not all Christians. He said there are good Christians out there. He has said that.
Oh yeah, remember when Donald Trump said, and some of them I assume are good people?
Yeah, that's true.
You have to admit, Chink and especially Anna, they go down that path, and I'm like, let's keep on.
I've never heard Anna do that. Now I've heard Jink do it over and over to the point where it fits to me, and I'm barely religious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know of God, I have the faith of the mustard seed, like they talk about, right? But it offends me to call it a magical religion. Don't demean what I believe. So I've never heard Anna do that. I've heard John say I'm not a believer, but he's always been respectful.
It's like she goes on. Now she hasn't gone down the magical path that Chink did. Because I was like, dude, you got to be joking.
Yeah.
But she getting close, and I'm like, you know what? I ain't got time for this. I don't got time for this. That's me, and that's how I see it. Because when you start saying magical, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second, bro.
Right.
Bro. It's supposed to be a show about politics. We not.
Yeah.
Where did this come from? I don't care what you believe. As long as you believe that people should have free medical care, monthly income, livable wage, we cool.
Right.
We gonna be cool, and you just go on that. But both sides, both Jimmy Joe and TYT, they both threw away progressives. But here's what I'm gonna say: y'all gonna scream at me. I think part of it is they deserve to be thrown away in a sense, because if they tweet one more time and not do something, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to work. I'm gonna need y'all to do something.
Put down your phone.
Exactly.
But how many others out there are hosting Nina? How many others are putting progressives on their shows before they're even well known? At least they're doing that. I mean, like I said, you
could talk about.
You can't throw out. You can't throw out the good because it's some bad.
Right.
I'm not saying something about. I'm saying both of. They both have. Part of me thinks, you know what, they partially right. They do need to do some work, and I know Nina. Nina. I'm gonna call Talisha Nina. Talisha doesn't watch this guy. I don't know if other YouTube guys have, but I've been watching Tim Black for. Okay, so y'all, we're gonna move on to the next subject then. Because
I watched him for a little while. He was kind of not abrasive. I don't. He got on my nerves. I couldn't tell you why.
I don't know why, but I love his show.
Towards the end, he got to the point where he was just intolerable. And I don't know if life had started to beat him down, because he started off on such a positive note when Bernie started running. And towards the end, when Bernie got shafted, it was like, don't call my show talking about the other guy. Don't do this. He got real abrasive. So I was in his wolf pack. I was a part of the membership Patreon, so I was donating in both of those, and I was watching him every chance I got. And he'd let me come up there a couple of times and say some good stuff. Like, I remember when Trump's bitch ass was trying to get the military to turn on peaceful protesters, and he let me come up there and say my spiel, like, you do not have to do this. As a military member, you can say you do not abide by this. This is against your beliefs, and they cannot force you. So I thanked him for that. But then he just got so bitter, and to a point where, at what point are you still promoting our ideology? At this point, it's just you're angry.
Yeah, but so I bring up his name for one thing only. Every Thursday, he does this thing where it's called Get Nina Elected. every Thursday, and I specifically watch on Thursday. Every Thursday he's been doing this. He'll play a Nina clip, or when he interviews her because she comes on his show a lot. So that's the only reason I brought him up. But then it's like I don't know who I should be listening to. I can't watch The Hill anymore because they got those two hosts that the first two irritated me, but those two replaced. I'm like, if y'all don't shut up.
Well, they got rid of Ryan, and now they've got somebody else, because Ryan Grimm is at least an awesome reporter who, even though he's a little dry, but he is a digger, and he will find any kind of dirt that the blue MAGA, red MAGA is hiding and show it for the world. But they got rid of him, and so as a matter of fact, I think they got rid of Emily too, who was horrible. But yeah, Hill's terrible. I'm trying to think. I watched Burn It Down with Kim Brown. I don't know. Have you seen that, Jenny?
I love Kim Brown.
She's awesome. Guys, I think Jenny's my new soulmate.
Are we new?
Excuse me, I've been replaced.
No, Mickey, you will always be my first love. Jenny, I'm just cheating on you with Jenny.
It took me a minute to realize the pun of her show, because she smokes while she does her show, and I'm like, oh, that's what she means.
Well, she also means burn down the establishment.
Yes, and I really enjoy her take on things. Yeah. So when it comes to shows for me, do I watch The Young Turks? No. Do I think they should be thrown out? No. I'm not personally invested there. Same with Jimmy Dore. You know, when it comes, at the end of the day, what it comes to is I'm going to support the people who I think are doing the most good, or who I think have have a really good message that is worth investing in and listening to. And so that's my take on it. I've found a few that I really enjoy. And I hear some drama, from when you're on Twitter, and you can't help but see there's drama all over the place. And so I'll let them do what they're doing, and I'm gonna go over here and support Marcus and Mondeo and Kim Brown and the next person that comes out to be really amazing. So and there's nothing.
Really I'm sorry. I know Mickey really likes Bo from the Fifth Column. I've caught him a couple of times. I haven't really watched him religiously.
I love him.
About him.
I'm still trying to get with Brianna Joy show. I'm like, girl.
I watch bits and pieces. I watch the stuff I want to watch. Like, I really found it very interesting. They what is it when you like really analyze that Biden call, and they showed how Sherilyn Ifill, the head of the NAACP, had said something to the effect of, yes, Biden can stop federal funds from going to these police forces that violate civil rights, just like we did for schools back in the 50s. And he literally said it was unconstitutional. So they have really good shows that I'll sit and watch. I will not watch their whole 4-hour segments like Katie Halper, but they have some good clips that they play. So definitely check out the clips when you can, because it's some good stuff. Good stuff.
I've been recently introduced to a group called the Fred Hampton Leftists. I don't know if you're familiar. But so I've been slowly taking my time and reading a little bit more about them and what they do. And I have to say, 10 years ago, I would have never looked at something like that and said, wow, this is really exciting or enlightening or whatever. And so, I mean, because every day I'm surprising myself with how progressive I think. And you realize that when someone tells you that what you're talking about is impossible, could never happen, never ever. I'm like, oh. So yeah, these guys have a lot of interesting things to say about what they believe and how they feel people should be treated. And so I'm not going to promote them per se, but I am going to say it has been interesting to me to look into these guys.
I think we all should listen to a whole lot of different viewpoints.
Absolutely.
And then, it's like you said with Bo. A friend posted his video on my page maybe 2 years ago or so. And I started it. And after about 10 seconds, I stopped and I said, why the hell did she send this redneck to me with his accent and what he looked like? And And I said to myself, well, she must have done it for a reason. Yeah, I mean, my prejudice. I looked at this and said, why did she send this to me? Because she's a progressive. I said, well, to be fair, I played the whole thing. I immediately subscribed, and I've been a subscriber for at least 2 years.
Check it out.
I had to stop my own prejudice and watch it before I realized that's pretty sad when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens though. Everybody has that. And Jenny, if I can tell you one thing, if Mickey signs it, take it to the bank because it's good. She knows a lot. Sometimes I defer to her for stuff that I should know. And Mickey is a wealth of knowledge. So if she says it, I believe her.
Okay.
But Teresa, the older I get, the more I realize I don't know. And that's not being funny. That's not being funny.
Yeah.
The more I learn, the more I learn that what I didn't learn.
I need to learn.
Yeah. But I think the good thing about you is you're open and you're a sponge and you want to know. And so with that all day long, I can talk to you.
And you bring up Fred Hampton. I was in my early 20s when the FBI assassinated him. And all of us young people, none of us believed their bullshit story at the time.
No.
Right.
Didn't they say he died like somebody in his own group killed, or was that Malcolm X?
Well, he was an informant that they tried to arrest, so they preferred to lean the hammer down on him. So they had him drug him, and then the FBI's came in and murdered him. And almost killed
in
his
bed, asleep at night. They came in and assassinated him. And the stories that went around, I mean, we were, this was with all the unrest, and we had done the marching and protesting in the 60s. When that story came out, we all shook our heads. We had no idea what was going on, but we didn't believe it.
Right.
Yep.
Well, when I was in school, they had us believing the Black Panthers were militants who hated our country. They had us believing that Malcolm X meant no good for anybody and just hated white people. And, it wasn't until, at least for college, I learned the truth about the Black Panthers and Malcolm. I've learned so much over the last 20-something years. It just boggles my mind how much they have whitewashed.
It's getting worse. I mean, we have states like Texas. It's like, you can't teach slavery, really? You just gonna swipe over that like it never happened? You're just gonna what? That literally
but you have to understand, Tracy, how can racist people raise their children to be racist if they learn the truth?
Exactly. And let's not forget, Texas is the state that you can get a gun without a license.
And have a mass shooting every day.
And it was a state that didn't tell their slaves that they had been freed for what, 2 years?
It's about a year. It was about a year later. It was a year later. Slaves were freed that September. Finally, the following June, all Blacks were free, supposedly. Then we had Jim Crow.
So I want to talk about
the Black Code.
Yeah. I want to talk briefly about the way the show's going to go down while you guys are on hiatus. So while you guys are on hiatus, I am not. I am going to attempt to do 2 solo shows. I don't know how I'm going to make it. I'm going to do Tracy, and Talisha just walked off because she didn't even want to hear it. But Tracy takes on In the Progressive Queens for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to do on my own. And I'm going to talk about, for the 4th of July episode on the 3rd, patriotism. And what does it truly mean to be an American? I really want to tackle that.
Are you wanting to be alone? Because I just started. I don't need a hiatus.
I kind of sort of do. And this is where I was saying, definitely for Tracy Takes On, I think I want to go just strictly solo. But since I told the rest of the group that, I'm going to give you guys a 2-week hiatus, I don't want to go back on what I said.
Okay.
Unless you all...
Your thing on patriotism, these states that say you can't teach CRT, they're also demanding we teach patriotism, only based on the documents of the founding fathers.
Yeah, so Talisha, you just got out, right?
I heard everything. I just had to run to the little girl's room. I've been drinking a lot of ginger ale.
I didn't want to say, you guys are too, and that's the reason I'm going by myself. But since you already have it, if I see you happen to be there in the room, I'll let you in. I'm not gonna say you're out now, but it's the same web address. But I wanted to do that show on patriotism because I think the way we teach it is it's so upside down. Patriotism is saying, you know what, my country could do this, 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 and this. Why aren't we? But the way the media sells patriotism, it's you have to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. You have to say, I don't know, God bless them, whatever that is. So I want to talk about that. And then the week after, that's just a clip show. That's just all
my patriot.
Why? Oh, how sweet.
This is Fancy. This is the one who you hear whining in the background and little when
such a
cute.
Sweet face.
She's a monster, y'all. She's a monster.
What is that?
She's not.
I'm gonna be right back, ladies.
Not.
Okay.
She's a pig.
She looks like a sweetheart.
She is. She's a big old pussycat, even though she barks like she's trying to murder someone. Okay,
yeah, I'm gonna try, but like I said, if I see you guys there, I'm not gonna say you can't get in, but I just back and say, okay, you guys got to show up.
So I'm taking my break. I need it. I will not be there.
Yeah, we know. You already told me.
Because they got me back in full-time work, and y'all, it's been rough. They expect me to come to work 5 days a week. I don't know what to do with myself. It's been rough.
I'm not crazy about being old, but I'm so glad I don't have to work anymore.
I'm telling you, I tell my sons every day, it's time for them to win that lottery or whatever the hell they're gonna do, but mama don't want to work no more. And they just say, we got you, Mom.
I actually liked the job that they were in. Like all the jobs I think I've had, I've never seen any of them.
So I'll tell you like this. As long as I'm not compromising my values, I can be bought, right? So they pay me a very good amount of money. I just hate the people, right? They're not bad, they're not mean, but it's funny, as much as I run my mouth, I am very introverted and I'd rather be by my damn self on my back porch smoking a cigarette, right? So it really aggravates me that I have to come into this building and deal with all these happy fucking people and talk to them. It really bothers me. So but for the people, I don't mind my job at all. It's a decent job.
Yeah, you are not in customer service.
Yeah, actually I am. I'm a knowledge manager. I do nothing but handhold customers. And it fucking sucks because it's like they're 2-year-olds.
Oh my gosh. Can I have your ID number? What's that? No, you did not just call me. Don't have your really? How really? Oh gosh.
We the consumer delegation feel you could get that information by A, our social, or B, our last names. We feel like y'all put us through extra hoops.
No, we can't. We are not supposed to ask for the socials because Jenny, you'll know this. I work with a group that manages Indiana Medicaid. We cannot, under any circumstances, ask for a social.
You can't ask, but can I offer it? Can I say, well, can I give you my social?
They'll start off by giving their social. So I'm like, wait a minute, is that a social you just gave me? They'll just, I'm like, don't give me your social. Do not.
Y'all aren't fucking around with that PII, huh?
I don't want to know your social. I'm not going to use it for anything, obviously, but don't do that. They just start right off. 315, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. Can I just have your name and date of birth is all I need. That's all I need. I don't need nothing else.
Once again, we, the consumer delegation, feel like you don't have to have that damn number that you're making me dig through shit to find. Just give me a number that I know.
It makes the call go faster. If I have to bring you up, be like, am I talking to Sue Harrison? Thank you. Sue, do you still live in Indianapolis? Thank you. What can I help you with? Boom. It goes on. You know we need it. We say in the message we need it. Why are you coming?
I'm gonna send you a clip of a lady in customer service in her day, and you're gonna love it because it's gonna be you. She's just like, by the end of the day, she's like, no, ma'am, I don't know why your bank didn't clear. Maybe you need to call the bank, ma'am. It's so sweet to the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'd rather be doing this than that. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, come on. You know you need it. The message says, please have your identification number. You just don't get on the phone. I don't have it. Why did you call? Wow. Don't know why they call. I'm like,
Well, ladies, it's fun as it's been. I've got to go.
Yep.
Jenny, it was so great meeting you. Let's link up, become Facebook friends. Let me find your code in the Kim Brown YouTube. You watch it on YouTube?
Yes.
So we can give each other shout outs. I rarely make it on Tuesdays, but Fridays I may drop in. You may hear her give us a shout out sometimes. Like if you watch this last Friday, she was like, Talisha Conklin, the Progressive Queens is in now.
Ooh.
So she's always giving us shout outs. Kim's amazing. We're supposed to be having her on our show. So you'll get to meet her. So I just have to find a day that she can meet us. So probably after our hiatus.
I'm so happy to meet all of you girls, and I'm so excited to be a part of what you're doing.
Well, hopefully we didn't run you off with our crazy.
Yeah, it's like
you fit right in.
You have the right thought processes.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it.
Oh, and real quick before you go, I missed the part when she introduced you to us on Facebook. How did you two meet? How did y'all link up?
I think it was clickbaity, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Clickbaity.
Yeah,
Mondale.
Like, hey, I'm looking for somebody. If you're female, hey, I'm looking. You're progressive. I'm looking for you. And
yeah.
Oh wow.
And I said, that's me.
You'll be sorry.
Well, yes, we want you for more than one episode, definitely.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
I'm not gonna go down the Kim alley. We're gonna just move forward.
We'll tell you about Kim later. We'll tell you about Kim later.
Okay.
And you're missing Kat. Kat has been having some
Kat is the one
family problems and health problems, but she's a regular too.
But when you meet her, you will love her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm so excited.
Not to color my hair because them two right there, color. They keep telling me to color, and I'm like, no.
Hair flip.
But you see, she did listen when she used to wear it in a ponytail all the time, and Talisha and I bitched at her constantly. Looks so much better when it's down.
Yes, beautiful. It frames your face lovely.
Yes.
That more.
Yep.
But
sometimes she listens.
But
she doesn't.
Rudy Giuliani with that big old streak of black.
Oh my god. Well, you got to be who you are.
I love you lots, and I will talk to y'all later.
Good seeing you, Talisha.
I love your face, Mickey.
I love your smile. Yep. Nobody smiles like Talisha smiles.
Her check is in the mail, y'all. Bye.
And if I ever get my teeth, you'll see me smile.
Later. Bye, Mickey.
Bye-bye.